Hello and welcome back to The House That Happens, recorded live at Chewy's Bar and Grill, the only place to be in suburban Etobicoke, voted 4 times the best dive bar in the GTA, the Phoenix rising from the ashes. You know it's number 1 in our hearts. Cruz, how you doing this week?
Very good. What have you been up to, buddy?
Good. I'm Andrew Milani, by the way. Just nothing.
If they don't know who we are, then they shouldn't be good. And for all the new people that have pointed out that they've been jumping on the bandwagon, hi, how you doing?
Thank you. Give us a like, give us a shout out.
That's all you got to do, and don't worry, it's going to get warmer. Isn't it weird we were wearing shorts and nothing on Wednesday, and now
I was not wearing shorts, but
I was. I was in shorts.
I guess I was working inside, so.
Okay, well, I was wearing shorts most of the weekend. If you get to know me, I'm pretty well short. Like, I like to, once I put the shorts on, I like to say that's it. However, I do walk a dog, and it gets cold. Look, it's what, -1 today?
Yeah, probably around there.
Yeah, after it being 18 on Wednesday, bro. God bless climate change. God bless that wonderful phenomenon. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, by the way, big shout out to our next Prime Minister, Pierre Poilievre, who I went to see here at the Congress Center.
Oh, how'd that go?
It went amazing. We're not a political show. Okay, so I'm just going to say I had to shout that out. Right here at the Congress Center on Dixon Road, 5 minutes from where we're actually recording. If you don't know who the guy is, go check him out. He's got a very intelligent wife who's helping him along the way, and you know what they say, behind every good man's a good woman. They got a good message. They want to save you money.
Okay.
Okay, man.
One of the things that caught my eye this week was, of course, Formula One.
Oh.
The Saudi Arabia Grand Prix was this past week, and surprise, surprise, another win for Supermax Verstappen.
No, he was on cruise control. Let's just talk about this. The engine started, race. What's it? What Ben Johnson used to say? Gun, goal, race over. that green light went on in Saudi Arabia. That race was over. Which means the car, I heard it's going to be different this week because it's a different track. Australia's a completely different.
Next weekend, yeah.
I mean, next weekend, yeah, because now that I'm learning a little bit more, the design of the track has a lot to do with the design of your car.
Oh, well, the setups that they go with.
The setups, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's quite interesting. And Ferrari is the one that's barking the most about we'll be ready for Australia.
As they should be.
Mercedes is too, but I think Ferrari's talking a little bit more.
No, Mercedes already looks a step behind. I was looking at some information where even the speed that they got to go into a lot of corners is slower than a lot of the other cars, so they're a step behind. Especially Ferrari and Red Bull, and maybe even McLaren in some ways, in some aspects.
Oh, I know, but Ferrari's up there, and that's just why we got to give a shot. Max, you're a superstar. That's all there is to it. My 2023 Sportsman Athlete of the Year, Sportsman of the Year, has won again. But we got to shout out to the kid.
Ollie Behrman.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
come on.
Comes out of getting pulled for
Come
F2.
on.
Doesn't even get to do the race because he's called into F1. Finishes 7th place. If he didn't I'm trying not to be hard on the kid, but he wasn't able to finish up his Q2 nicely. If he was able to get in Q3, he might have been even able to finish top 5.
Agreed, but come on, he's 18.
No, that's not a slight at the kid. That's more of a testament to his skill.
He looks more like 14. When I seen the guy, I said, oh, he's 18? Really? Check his ID. Amazing performance. I can't imagine at my age. I think back, what was I doing at 18? Trying not to get pulled over by the police, I think. But 18 years old, driving a car of that magnitude for the first time in an emergency when he didn't even know 72 hours before he'd even be in the race. Mm-hmm.
Well, he'd driven F1 cars before. But,
oh, no. Yeah, he has driven the cars before. But I mean, like on the Wednesday, he wasn't thinking about, I'm going to be in the Saudi Grand Prix.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Huge, well, at least not in F1.
No, huge shout out to the kid. And like you said, what was the joke you made about constructor points? He's going to have more than who?
Oh, well, so the Spanish official F1 page put out a poll asking who's going to have more points at the end of the season, Ollie Behrman or Alpine.
Oh, Alpine.
And the vote was overwhelmingly Ollie Behrman.
And you know what? I went back after you told me that, and I looked at some of the stuff that's happened in the first 2 races. Not too good.
Alpine?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just a disaster for them this race. Gasly couldn't even get out of first gear to start the race. Oh my God. He has some of the worst luck in F1. I will stand by that.
One day he's going to get a shot. Maybe next year, but
maybe
that's another story. Okay, well, we'll see.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. You never know.
Which is unfortunate. What else do I want to bring up? Lance Stroll.
What, the Canadian kid?
What's going on with him?
He should be sent home. He should be sent home. Yeah, we know why he's in the car. Send him home. You know what I mean? You're not good enough. Do you think he's a good enough driver? I think that car would have better results with a better driver.
Well, obviously.
Okay, so then why Dad's not going to let that happen? Ruin his dream?
I mean, at this point, like he said something last year about like that the clock might be ticking on Lance. So if Lance doesn't finish top 12 in points, I think they got to look elsewhere.
I was going to even say top 10, but you're right.
Made some leeway because he's the son of the money.
Okay, we'll give him that. And we're cheering for Canadians at most of times.
Absolutely.
But at the highest level of competition, if you're not competing, next.
Yeah. What else do I want to bring up? So Perez actually having a good start to the season.
Okay.
His seat looking a little bit less hot at Red Bull, which is good to see for him, obviously. I like Checo Perez, but last year was not the way things or how he wanted to go for last year, you know?
Okay, I like the guy too, but do you think he's looking for another seat? Is he happy to be Robin?
Right now he looks like he is. Well, not to get ahead of myself, but he has been mentioning Christian Horner. He's obviously a big fan of his.
There you go.
So
I
think if he had it his way, he would stay at Red Bull. It's probably where the money is too.
Oh God, yeah, and he's, you know what I mean. He's not eating at McDonald's.
No,
right?
No.
Red Bull, come on, you know. And then last, I seen the interview too. I was actually watching the Checkered Flag show, and he seemed much more comfortable about everything after a race than any time last year.
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean? Like something maybe went on. Maybe he should have been in third. Maybe he got a penalty point. Maybe he did this. So sometimes people were barking at him. You know, Max was here. Your car should have been there kind of deal. But he seems much more relaxed this year.
Absolutely.
I don't know why, but maybe because you know what? He's a good Robin.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
But speaking of Red Bull, this drama just refuses to die. The big thing that people picked up on this week was that Max has never explicitly thrown his support behind Christian Horner. Yeah, but he's always quick to point out that he's a Helmut Marko guy.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm not, because I'm going to have to take a step back on all this because there's a couple other things going on. Like now there's a counter-sue from the complainant. Like you said, Ford said, was this done transparently?
Yeah, Ford's not happy.
Yeah, like,
and it's not too late for them to pull out potentially. Don't forget that.
Well, yeah. So I'm gonna go with this because I am Mr. Christian Horner, who's done all those cool family things lately to show the general public, which is a great PR move. I'm just gonna say this is what you said last week. That's the end of our F1 conversation for the week.
No, it's not. I have some more things to bring up.
This is the end of our Christian Horner part of the conversation, don't you think? What are we going to say about
there's some big news, or at least some big rumors coming out that Christian Horner is trying to round up investors from Austria to buy the team.
You should bring that up. But how strong do you think that is?
He's got some pull, I'm sure. I don't know if he's going to be able to buy like the main team. They might be like, oh, here, take Visa RB, whatever, such and such. But
okay, I looked at it this way. He was seen in the company of some of those individuals that could be involved in buying.
Yes.
Okay, but there's other guys from other teams that have seen with people that could be connected with other things outside the circle of their realm too. So I'm going to take that as an alleged, our favorite word on this show. It's alleged that he is drumming up Austrian things, but I don't know how strong that, because I was going online on those threads that you showed me to go online, and I didn't see that at the beginning. There was a big bump on it, but I don't see that gaining any traction.
Well, we'll see. I mean, they wouldn't want to exactly like let that all out there. I'm sure they want to keep things pretty quiet.
Yeah, but they're also talking continually that what's going away is to the 220 release places they left it to. Like where they released all this stuff about Horner, it went to 220 different sources. Okay, and any of those sources that you or I could see on the YouTube was released technically illegally.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so now we're at
because that's evidence you're releasing out there, right?
Whatever the case may be. So now it's the alleged are alleging. So that's why I'm saying this is getting as dirty as it is, because I don't want to be on the wrong side of morals here, okay? That's my number one thing, listening back to some of the things I've said. And I'm going to still defend some of the things I said. It's just it's a hard defense.
Right.
You know what I mean? It is a really hard defense. So where we are right now with that is I'm going to say that's another, I did some research. Yes, he did sit down with, He did sit down with some people from Austria that could perhaps maybe have the juice to be getting involved in the buying. But where is it going? I didn't find enough traction on that I'll keep it in the alleged category. How's that?
Absolutely. But all I'm going to say is in any business, talent only takes you so far.
Exactly.
No one wants to work with a dick.
Okay.
Just ask Mike Keenan.
Okay. Oh, yes. There you go. There you go.
One last thing I want to bring up from F1 is, so there were some rumors that Audi may have been getting cold feet in buying Sauber, or Kick Stake F1 team as they're currently known as. But they have now confirmed that they will be buying 100% of Sauber by 2026. So they will be fully in the door by the next regulation set.
That's true, too. That'll be after next season, right?
Yes.
Is that when the regulations change, right?
Next year will be the last year of this regulations, and then
so they'll
2026
they'll kick in, yeah. Smart move on their part. Smart move, because they're starting at the new starting block, so to speak.
Sure.
So to speak. Just want to yell out to everybody, because I do get a little bit of a hard time about this, but I'm not changing. Go check out the machinations that you would call Formula One, and you'll probably get interested. Because I hear a lot of people out there that are big-time sports people that absolutely diss it, and I don't understand it. I think it's more of a not understanding that makes them say that. Just, you know what I mean?
Some people just aren't into motorsports. That's fine.
Okay, that's cool too. But I'm just saying it's my growth in it so quickly in the last couple of years. I pay attention just because that highest level of competition, the way it's played out. Like, you know what I mean? If you're going to watch WWE, everything's a reality show, right?
I don't, but
I don't either, because this is real. You know what I'm saying? But okay, let's continue.
We'll move this from.
Wait.
Oh, okay.
Wait. Speaking of WWE and things that I don't watch.
Uh-oh.
I found it absolutely fascinating this week, where I grew up such a boxing fan. Okay? And remember the last big fight between Spence and Crawford? We barely got people talking about it, and Canelo's moving down a weight. But look what happened last week. And I'm going to tell you, marketing and all that stuff really plays more today than ever in this simple situation. What's that guy's name, Nagano? He used to be the UFC fighter. He fought Tyson Fury.
I don't know.
Okay, anyways, he fought Tyson Fury, and he gave him a battle. Okay. Now he fights Anthony Joshua. Did you see the knockout?
No.
He put this guy into the next galaxy.
This is an MMA fight?
No, this is
boxing.
Real live boxing. No, I'm telling you this. You don't even know about it. You didn't even hear about it. You know why? Because I don't know how these guys market it. And this is like one of those ones when you see this, you go, oh, gee.
Yeah.
This guy was like Fred Flintstone. When he's going down, the birds were flying off his head before he hit the canvas, okay? But my point being is, the same day, that guy with the sugar, whatever his name, in the UFC, he comes out and he braids his hair and it's like pink, green.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've seen pictures of that guy.
O'Malley, is his name O'Malley, I believe? Another thing we don't pay attention to, but this guy got I noticed during the week, this guy got more press than ever. He's talking about fighting in the sphere. Okay, with Dana White setting him up, and the devastating knee to the guy's head where they played on the show so you could hear the sound. Crack, 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 and the guy didn't even go down, which is another story. My point being, and let's go to next, is a lover of boxing, unless you get back to a UFC formula of promoting the fights that the people are going to want to see, nobody's going to see a great knockout like they've seen last Saturday night when Joshua had knocked out Nagano, which leads us to believe finally that Joshua should fight Tyson Fury. But will we ever hear about it?
I don't know. I do know about the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight,
you're killing me. You're killing me. That's my point. See, everybody's talking about Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. You know what?
His brother's pissed, eh?
Oh, yeah, I heard all that. But you know what?
So funny.
You don't understand. Like, when I was a kid, big fights are at 4:30 in the afternoon, bro. Wide World of Sports. Muhammad Ali versus Ken Norton. 4:30 on a Saturday afternoon. Me and my dad, because the only sport he really loved, we'd watch boxing, and then Mom would make Sunday night dinner before, and we'd all be done, eat dinner, and then hockey would start. It was really cool back in the days. But now we know about Jake Paul and Tyson, and the other Tyson, who should be in a fight with a guy who just did a devastating knockout. Nobody even knows. But everyone knows those UFC guys.
Marketing is huge.
I'm telling you. Yeah, ask Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Ask Jake Paul.
Speaking of marketing, one that's really picked up here in Canada, at least, the PWHL.
Oh, yes.
Toronto tied for first place right now after a mediocre start to the season. It looks like it's going to be a 3-horse race down the stretch. Toronto, Montreal, Minnesota.
I agree with that totally, and I've been looking at some numbers. I'm sorry, girls, I didn't get all your names, but Toronto is now moving up to the top of most of the offensive categories in the league.
As they should be.
You know what I mean? The way they were going, because I guess they had some lineup changes. I understood that the lineup they had in the beginning is not quite the same. Like they did some line adjusting, so to speak, and it's worked out that way. Like any team.
Well, if it wasn't working, you got to fix it.
That's what I'm saying. So they're doing good, and I agree. And I'm still going to go with the fact that I think the top three teams. But you say Minnesota plays is two different places, right?
No, Minnesota plays at XL Energy Center.
Yeah. So I'm of the belief that that continuity has a lot to do with the success of your team. Where are we playing tonight? Your house. Where are we playing it tonight? My house. Okay, you know what I'm saying? However, you got to give them huge because they're still getting. They got a huge cosmetics company stepped up to the plate. Oh, which I thought. Well, yeah, I forget the name of that cosmetic company. I should have wrote it down, but I forgot. Cosmetic company stepped in, and some other predominantly. And I don't mean it this way, only because cosmetic company, that's usually, you would apply to women, correct?
Sure.
So what was the other company? I can't believe, but I think it was a fitness group or a outfitting crew that's predominantly female. You got it there? Did you see the new sponsors?
So the Elf Cosmetics.
Yep.
And Hyundai's a partner now?
Yes, and I think there's somebody else, isn't there? Somebody else is on the way. I don't know. But any event.
I might have to go back for it, but it's all good.
It's all good. But here's the really thing that I found out this weekend. You know what's going on tonight and tomorrow night? You know where they're playing their games?
They're doing the game at Bell Center?
No.
Or is that later?
One game's in Pittsburgh at the PPG
Paints, yeah.
where the Pittsburgh Penguins play. And I think tonight they're playing at Little Caesars in Detroit.
Oh, that's right.
They're playing
doing a little tour, basically, yeah.
Yes, which I think is when I made a little joke about how they can manipulate their attendance figures. Who cares? If they got the gate, use it. You know what I mean?
That's bizarre. Toronto and Montreal are playing in Pittsburgh. I don't know how that worked out, but
I thought Toronto Montreal would play in Detroit more, didn't you? I don't know. I just think it's maybe marketing, get more in there. I don't know how they decided on what teams even played there because neither one of those cities represent. And I don't think they should expand yet. I'm all about it. You keep.
I don't think they will.
Good. Stay there, 6 team, get a little stronger.
Although I hear Pittsburgh and Detroit would be next in line.
Oh, yeah. I heard Detroit. Yeah. Detroit's all over it, too. And I know there's another. Is it Philadelphia? Or do they already have a team?
No, they don't.
Okay, there's one of those East Coast teams, East Coast markets that are screaming, we get it in. And it could be a weird team like the Carolinas. Like somebody like that came up.
New York's got to figure out their situation, though. They don't even play in New York.
They play on Long Island, and then they play somewhere.
Bridgeport, Connecticut, which is their main arena.
Okay, but that's just insane. How do you have 6? That's what I'm talking. And what place is their team in? Second last. Dead last. Okay. That's what I'm talking about, continuity and the way it's going. But listen, for a first year
you say that, but then Ottawa's also kind of around those bottom teams. They play every game in the same spot.
That could be management. But let's cut to the chase here. PWHL. Keep on trucking, baby. Keep going forward. This is good for you. Getting more eyes on it. That you're getting on the highlight reels on the Sports Center at night.
Yep.
Especially this week when there wasn't as much hockey because I really believe the arenas were taking over for a minute, but that's another story.
Well, especially down in the States, absolutely.
There you go.
But yeah, we'll be watching Toronto Montreal at PPG
tonight, isn't it?
Tomorrow.
And who plays tonight? Doesn't someone play at Little Caesars tonight?
Yes, that's Ottawa Boston at Little Caesars at 6 p.m.
Let's check.
And then Toronto Montreal's 12:30 start tomorrow. I'll definitely be watching.
Okay, so the thing that I'll be looking at is I will definitely get some attendance figures so next week we can tell you the success of the amount of people that came out there. But I'm also going to go, which should be shouted out because we don't know who's always listening, and it could be like when Rush first started. But like my son said, if you're going to have a professional women's sports league, the women have to support it too.
Well, if you look in the stands, it's a lot of women there.
Getting better. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But I mean, like,
and the kids too look like they're eating it up.
I hope there is too. Like I mentioned it to my granddaughter, and she's 17, and she kind of looked at me like I had 3 heads. What?
Well, I don't think she's a sports fan, is she?
No, but I'm trying to get her that way. I'm trying to open the door. Just
you got to meet. You got to find the sports fans first. I think.
How do you get new sports fans?
She's 17. She's already kind of set in her ways with that.
That's a drag. And I did expose her to a lot.
Well, I've read this one time, like years ago. It's like like once you're like you're in those like teenage years, 16, 17, 18, you're pretty closed off. But once you get in your early 20s, it's like your last chance to kind of like
open the door.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Could happen.
Well, you mentioned my son said when he was here last week that he always going to admit this. He came a tad late. He's known as a football junkie now. He came a tad late to the table. Like,
okay.
Because he always says that now, like, what was I doing? And you opened the door, what you were exposed to, but it was your theory. He had his little crew together. They were doing band stuff. They were going to rock Madison Square Garden. What do you mean sports? You know what I mean? Right. They had that kind of, which is a good little, I supported that immensely. You know what I mean? I tried to open the door. I tried to get him to watch hockey. You see how successful I was there, eh? But that's
it seems like he's a minor Habs fan, if
I
read correctly.
Yes, he will, because you know what?
He will.
You know what? It is like when he shouted out when he was in Cuba, and they did the big Detroit Lions shout out, because the game, the NFC conference game was in, he was in Cuba during the game.
Right.
And it was really cool because they did a video call out, and they had a shout out there because he knows the old man's crazy for this stuff. So, you know, when it gets down to those lines, he shouts out and he cheers, which is cool. It's support. Nice. You know what I mean? I appreciate it. Yeah.
Either way, though, PWHL World Championship break is right around the corner. Basically, 3 games left for Toronto. Their last game before the break is on the 25th. Then they come back. They finish early May, and then they got playoffs.
One small factor that we forgot to talk about when we were talking about the PWHL. The product is good.
Oh, yes.
The product is good. Like, let's talk, okay, the marketing, where are they playing, uniforms, we can talk about all that. But the number one thing is the product is good. Good hockey, people,
and
check it out.
The players are being proven right for wanting to start right away. Because, like, I think the people wanted, like, with the money, want to push it a year, you know, for the jerseys and the logos and names and all that. But you risk losing momentum, right? That's the issue. And the players looks like they're being proven right, so good for them.
Agreed.
We'll move this on to another favorite here in Toronto, really? At the house that happens.
Really?
Toronto FC.
Wait, no, come on. Like, what are we doing?
Undefeated, baby.
We are running into a wall. TFC, undefeated.
2 goals in 3 games for Insigne.
And the only first time they have not conceded a goal in the first 3 matches.
Yep.
Are they the only team in the league that has not conceded a goal?
I'm not sure about that. I don't really follow the rest of the league.
This is a transformation of next level. This is Lazarus kind of shit, man.
Well, there's the amount of money that they're spending. They better have figured it out.
And they got rid of some of the shrapnel that was affecting the team.
Good.
You know, oh no, exactly.
Good.
We want to have an undefeated team. Anytime we have a great team in the city of Toronto, house that happens is happening.
Got to celebrate it.
So, yeah, 3-0, and your buddy scored a goal.
Oh, 2-0-1.
2-0-1.
They got draw their first game.
Yeah. And it was a 0-0 draw, which has led to a long way from them not conceding a goal so far in 3 games in the regular season. What's the schedule? 34 games?
38, I believe.
38, not 40. Less than 40. Though.
Yeah, less than 40.
Yeah. All good though. And your buddy scored a goal.
Insigne. Well, he's got goals in his last 2 games now.
That's good. They're
very
playing
good.
Is the MLSC the ATM of soccer?
I mean, it looks that way. They just got money to blow. Since the last 10 years, basically, once the Rogers and Bell basically bought the team, it's just been let's throw money at guys.
Oh, but
it's been decently successful compared to the first 6-7 years of the team.
But I mean, the fact that it's doing the rest of the teams, like some of the operations around the league, like they got Messi in Florida, they got a couple dudes in LA.
Well, I guess everyone's kind of copying what the LA model was back in the day with Beckham, right?
Yeah, and why not? But when I heard the expression, is the MLS the ATM?
MLSE.
MLSE. Yeah. Is it the no, even MLS, the whole league.
Oh, the whole league.
They were saying, and they were number 1. Of course, MLS came up number 1.
Well, Toronto FC, they might be the most valuable MLS team.
Oh, I believe they are. But I do know that
they're up there even among top soccer teams in the world, which is crazy.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I said. They, as a value, they're sniffing.
Mm-hmm.
Those sniffing those leagues, which is unheard of because come on, those are Premier Leagues all over the world. That's La Liga, Premier. What's the one?
Yeah, but I'm sure TFC, they got some nice TV contracts. They sell some merch.
No, exact. No, that's what I'm saying. So they're on a level where back to marketing. Yep. Exposure, money, fans. BMO is selling out. They can probably make it bigger. It's all good. It's the same. But
those tickets ain't cheap.
No, they're not. They're reasonable, not cheap. But look at it. It's the same thing. Like they're the only other. Look what the Miami franchise value went up immediately. They got Messi. Their value went up 25% when they were doing that 4%. Their value went up 25% or something outrageous. I went, whoa, that had a lot to do with the Apple contract.
That and they're a startup too, so their value at the beginning wouldn't have been that high, right?
True, point well taken. But that's great for the Toronto FC. We're going to keep your eye on you guys. Keep playing so you don't lose.
They are in action tonight at New York City FC. I believe that will be at Yankee Stadium. Yes, it will be 7:30 kickoff.
What's the temperature going to be?
Not warm.
Oh, damn. That's one thing early in the year I say, why didn't they play inside? Because
that's soccer. I mean, it's like that in Europe, too. Some guys, they have the gloves on and the long sleeves sometimes when they play.
I'm putting gloves on and long sleeves. I don't give a shit.
And it's because TFC or MLS, the playoffs go into December, so you can't start any later.
I agree. But some of this new gear they got on, it's not like back in the day. You put on some of that Armour All stuff. Once you start sweating,
Under Armour.
Yeah, Under Armour. When you put the stuff on, it keeps your body warm. Like once your body temperature goes, that new gear that holds your heat in, that's pretty cool. So good luck to TFC. We're hoping. I hope they knock wood. I hope they keep this streak going for about 10 games, so I don't have to make fun of them when they start doing stupid things, which I don't think they will.
We'll move this along to
my favorite event of the year. Can we say that? We don't talk about this enough, and I haven't either, but we are now days away from March Madness, probably one of the greatest competitions on your sports calendar year, according to moi. I haven't missed it in, 50 years. However, there's been a little fall off this year, and I don't know why. A lot of people say it has to do with the scheduling of the NFL shifting, so they had the extra game, so they had a preseason, and then their playoffs go a little bit more. So usually what happens is, way back in the day, football was easily done by
February.
Yeah, easily, and sometimes it was done by late January, but they'd get the Saturday games in for the basketball still leading up to what we have this week with the tournament championships going into it. But now with all the playoff games, the NFL's taking over Saturdays and Sundays and some Mondays, and all the other leagues are kicking into full gear by that time. Not by this time, you know what I mean? NBA, NHL, spring training's around the corner, blah, 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 blah. And they sort of got pushed to the back of the sports lexicon a bit.
I would even say this year there's arguably more buzz about the women's tournament than the men's.
Easy. No. This is one year when the women have eclipsed. Ratings on TV are almost matched, and sometimes are greater. Everyone's looking forward to the LSU South Carolina rematch in the women's March Madness. That's where they're hoping they put up the draw. Did you see the fighting in that game?
Oh, man.
Those girls were not happy. You know what I mean? That looked like bad boy shit, but that's another story. I don't know as much about the tournament as I usually do, and I don't even know there's some players, which as they say, the problem is, do we have any named players that are playing in college this year? And the one name that we do know, and it's not because it's a positive, is Bronny James, who's getting all kinds of whatever. We're not even going to talk about that long. Let the kid play. My theory is he's a college kid, man. Let him enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? I hope he stays in USC for 4 years. LeBron might not lock it because he has that dream of playing with his son in the NBA, but LeBron, stay in shape. They'll let you play 4 more years. Who's going to care?
How about do what's best for your son?
But in any event, we have the tournaments already starting around the country. And
finishing up basically the conference tournaments.
Yes, they're all going to be here now. So, Mr. Milani, what have you discovered? Because I could talk about this for the next 10 minutes, but I won't. I'm just going to say this. Tennessee got their asses kicked yesterday, and 2 weeks ago on the show I said, be careful about Tennessee. They could be frauds. They're gone. My South Carolina team, I said, they could be the sleeper. Bums. They got kicked. Duke. The traditional Duke, here we come. Where are they? Already in the sidelines.
They lost to NC State, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Now, I will give them the benefit of doubt with this and Kansas losing is that a couple of the guys had banged up. So, in Duke's case and in Kansas' case, which I've signed
those teams are going to qualify for the tournament.
Oh, yeah, they're already going to be. And their seeding is not going to be, they're either going to be a 1 or a 2, or a 2 or a 3. It's not going to be anything extravagantly different if they don't make their move in the tournament they made it. Even though if you lose in the first round, that's kind of whatever. So I'm just saying what you're just, I'm interested to see, what would you do if you had to pick the Final Four right now? Who would you like?
Oh my God, the bracket's not even set yet.
I know that, but I mean, you got to have some idea. I'm now officially, I cannot deny the Houston team I'm already taking them. We're going to put a card in. We're going to do it Sunday night. When I get the thing and we're taking a look, we're going to put in the card in the Hoopness pool. If you're going to listen, guys, looking for the house that happens, first-time champion in the Hoopness pool, we're going to take it. And I think that's going to be, I'll take our Houston team, just to let you know. Houston's going to be our team.
I like Connecticut and I like Purdue.
I don't like Purdue. They're frauds.
You think they're frauds? You don't think they're going to be pissed off about last year?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter because Virginia did that too. Okay, Virginia did that a few years ago. Lost in the first round. Then the very next year they went back and they won it all.
Yeah.
Which was a weird. No, Purdue's not doing this. Purdue, first of all, I think the team's too slow. Okay, but they are playing in the championship today against Illinois, I believe, correct?
I believe you're right.
Which is another sleeper team, but I'm not talking a little more because I think that the Big Ten actually has had a down year. I think it's that Big 12 conferences you got to look out for. You know what I mean? Because they got Houston, they got Iowa State. You know what I mean? They got Kansas.
I think Creighton's an interesting team as well.
Yeah, but they already lost 2. They're another team that I was really like.
Yeah, but they're going to make the tournament though.
Okay, but I look at how you play going into the tournament. I want you to have some reasonable momentum. For example, North Carolina State beating Duke. Duke looked terrible. Okay, but then again, last night, North Carolina State went out and beat Virginia in a great game.
Went to overtime.
Yes, it was. It was a dog fight. I watched that game. But I'm saying now that North Carolina State, whether they beat North Carolina or not today, or is it Sunday? I forget. North Carolina is still going to be
It's going to be today.
Yeah, they're going to still be a number 1 seed. So you think North Carolina cares? Of course they want to care because it's more ACC champions and shit, stuff like that. But if North Carolina State wins, I say they will not make the Sweet 16 because they're not supposed to be around. So they ran out of gas just getting here. Traditionally, that's how it works.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you where's North Carolina State? They mid-season they looked okay, and maybe they're coming back. You never know. But
maybe it's a survive and advance part 2.
Exactly. There's that kind of element to North Carolina State. I've heard that kind of talk about Indiana, but Indiana already lost in their tournament. I've heard this about Michigan State in the Big Ten, where you evolve. This is your evolution, so you're prepared for the tournament. I'm very interested if St. John's and Rick Pitino are going to make the tournament. And Texas A&M, who did they beat up on? Was they the one that beat up on Tennessee, I believe, right? In any event, they're another team that you got to see because you got to look at coaches. There's this team called coaches, big March Madness coaches, Shaka and Marquette. Oh, what's his name in Texas? He looks like Curly from the Three Stooges. He's going to shoot me. Rick Barnes in Tennessee, but look at they already got knocked out. Auburn looks like they're going to go places. They're going to be sleeper. But
they're in the SEC semifinal today.
Who's that? Auburn?
Auburn.
Yes. Who are they playing?
They are playing Mississippi State.
Who, I can't even believe them. They were the ones that just ripped Tennessee. Like Mississippi State, I think they got to run the table just to make the tournament. But if they do, I'd be scared of them because they were good early. They had some injury problems. Who else is in the semifinals of that? Because Kentucky lost 2.
It's not showing here. Let me see.
I forgot. I should have known this. I wrote on a piece. I thought I would have my trusty tablet in front of me. In any event, a lot of blue bloods went down.
Texas A&M and Florida.
Yeah, that's my boy. And Florida, I think, is a sleeper. That's going to be one of my sleepers on one card. It'll depend on Sunday night and how the draws.
A football school that's good at basketball, too.
Exactly. But I'm saying football schools, it seems to be a tradition. They never win. They get there, but they don't win. Look at Baylor. Baylor's been kicking around for a few years. They're a football school, but they've been playing good basketball.
They got a very good basketball program. They're always in the tournament. They usually go to Sweet 16. They're one of those schools. Yeah,
they get there, but they don't win it. They don't get to the Final Fours. I'm saying this year, right now,
Florida goes to the Final Four, though.
What's that?
Florida Gators
haven't been to a while. Haven't been for a while.
They're due.
Okay, so I'm going to say off the top of my head right now, if I had to pick the Final Four, because I'm going to go by the fact how I think things are going to be seeded and they're going to be spreading around. I'm definitely taking Houston. I'm liking Iowa State. I'm liking Connecticut. And my outside the box kind of thing is, I don't know. I really liked Creighton until they fell down. I really like Marquette, but they're playing Connecticut again. So they're going to get their asses kicked by Connecticut for a third time. Where are they going? Because I really
never say never.
Okay, maybe it's their time, but they're playing in the championship. They're playing today,
yeah.
Yeah, in the championship against
6:30
against Connecticut, right?
Yep.
And the last 2 times they fell down. So I don't know. I'm saying Kansas. Let's not count on Kansas. I think they could be a sleeper. They could come into the tournament. Kentucky had a great run until they lost till yesterday. And so those couple of blue bloods are still sticking around. But in any event, everybody, get ready to put in your brackets. I mean, you could be a janitor from a school in freaking Gravenhurst who's never watched basketball in your life. But if you fill out that little bracket, anything could happen. I'll call you on Sunday night to put ours in.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So we'll take it from one gambling giant to another. The NFL offseason continues to roll. Tons of craziness, but we'd be remiss if we didn't first shout out the great career of Aaron Donald. After 13 years, he's calling it a career. We wish him and his family the best.
First ballot Hall of Fame.
Hands down.
Isn't he tied with J.J. Watt and Lawrence Taylor for the most defensive players of the year?
He's won 3, so.
And Lawrence Taylor's won 3, and I think J.J. Watt's won 3.
Okay.
Because remember that next year when J.J. Watt pulled his oblique or whatever, he was in line to perhaps maybe be the first guy to win it 4 times. I could be wrong. We'll check it out. But to see this, what do we say? The season that never ends. Yes. Presented to you by the Monolith, has once again dominated the news of the week. Like, I haven't seen an offseason like this, free agency dominating.
Insane.
It's just, I'm so blown away. There's so many angles that you got to look at, especially how the season ended, who got where, and then what did they do. And we'd be remiss, the first thing we should be talking about is this running back conundrum has blown my mind.
Well, just the amount of running backs and quarterbacks moving around has been crazy.
Okay,
crazy.
we'll get to that in a minute, because that's where I get to copycat, and there's a lot of things that happen in the league that make you go in a certain direction. But let's just talk about this. Last year, Saquon was starting at the beginning of the season, and Josh Jacobs, and they didn't want to be tagged, and blah, 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 blah. And everyone said, it's the end of the running back. We can pick a guy up off the street, off the couch, he'll run for us, and we'll be good. How many times did we hear that last year, correct?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Here's the real truth. You just don't want to pay those guys because you don't know if they're going to be hurt. What's their longevity?
That's the thing.
You know what I'm saying? By the time they get to 30, blah, 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 blah. However, there's a weird coincidence that the last 4 teams, the final 4 teams in the NFL last year, including the Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs, all played what? Smash mouth football. Think about it. Pacheco came up huge as Kansas City in the O-line. So, and what did Detroit have? What they say possibly the best running back duo in the league. What did San Francisco? That big line with McCaffrey rolling behind him. And, of course, Baltimore, which is led the league in rushing.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is the problem with the NFL is they're being hypocritical about this in this way. They don't want to pay the running backs. So it just came at all these guys became free agents at the same time because to re-sign them, they're all going to go over that $10, $12 million, and nobody wants to pay them. So what it ended up happening, what I think it was with the running backs is, it was a case of musical chairs. Did you read?
Basically.
You know, and who had money? And who had
cap space, yeah.
Cap space. So here's an interesting thing that when you think about it, Denver is in cap space hell. They're
for
done.
The next few years.
Okay, so you know what I mean, and what you got to do with your cap and how you're managing. Let's just look at Denver as. But the cap did go up $40 million. So if there's ever a time to be in a situation where you've got $83 million dead cap hit, this is the time. Even though
you're
it's still
a step behind, arguably 2.
Okay, but I don't think it's necessarily 2 because look what happened with Green Bay.
Well, it's 2 in the fact that the cap went up 40, but you got to pay 80. That's 1 step forward, 2 steps back. That's my logic.
Okay, I agree with you.
It's double of 40, right?
Okay, so that's Denver's issue. Okay, but look at Green Bay's issue. Remember last year, I do believe because they traded Green Bay, they traded him to the New York Jets. They still had to take a $40 million cap hit to make the deal work, correct? So what happened to Green Bay? The moons and the stars went in line, and now they've got Aaron Rodgers $40 million back, and the cap went up $40 million. Who do they sign? The most attractive running back and free agent, which has to be Josh Jacobs. You know what I'm saying? Isn't that weird? And who did they let go? Aaron Jones, who was playing amazing. But let's think about it. Aaron Jones was now at a contract, according to the CBA in the NFL. His next contract would have been more than you would have had to pay Josh Jacobs as a free agent. Isn't that weird about football? That's what weirds me out. So Derrick Henry Would not got that. What did he make last year? Would he make $12 million on Tennessee last year?
I'm not sure what his cap hit would have been.
But anyway, he deserved it for those couple of years. But notice they cut the contract off by the time he was 30. Tennessee said, we're done. We'll pay you this much. Now, for him to get another contract from Tennessee, he and another guy, he wouldn't have made as much money. Baltimore couldn't, you know what I mean? He went to Baltimore because they paid him less. And Baltimore could afford him now.
Sure.
You know what I mean? How that's gone along. So just look around the league. And good backs are ugly. Zach Moss was going to be a salary cap casualty in Indianapolis. Oh, let's send him to Cincy because Cincy was going to have a salary cap issue with Joe Mixon. So let's trade him to Houston, who, by the way, David Singletary was coming into that, that rookie contract. If you keep him the 5th year, you got to spend money on him more. Which blows my mind because what it boils down to is these guys all got pennies on the buck for running backs, don't you think?
Sure.
When you look at it from that point of view, like look what we have here. The worst is Saquon going to Philly.
Why is that?
Because that's an arch rival. So he just said, fuck you to the New York Giants, and I don't like to swear, but that's when you swear, so you'll know the impact he had. And
$25.5 million guaranteed.
He
on a $37 million deal.
Okay, so that means he's got 12.5. What did Josh Jacobs get? He got something like that too, right?
He got 48 over 4.
With 28 guaranteed, right?
Doesn't say how much is guaranteed here.
I think he got guaranteed just a tad more. Because the years...
But he got a $12 million signing bonus.
Okay, there you go.
So...
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, probably around 25 guaranteed.
Which is even better than for him because now that $12 million gets sucked. They can put that right into the money they got from Aaron Rodgers, and they can stretch that over the years. So his salary cap hit is probably going to be about 20-some mil this year, but they can afford it due to the circumstances to get the best running back. And Green Bay is a running team, and who do you think is better, Josh Jacobs or Aaron Jones?
I'll take Josh Jacobs.
Okay, but what did Aaron Jones do? Where did he run off to? He went right to their contender, the Minnesota Vikings, and said, F you to
Minnesota took a hit with their quarterback, though.
Well,
do you see the memes about like Justin Jefferson when he sees Sam
yeah.
Darnold's going to be throwing him the ball this year?
We're going to get the quarterbacks in a second. I'm just looking at this, and it's absolutely, if you look around the league, how this worked out. Derrick Henry still got tread on the tire. Put him behind a big O-line. Mm-hmm. He goes to the Ravens. The Ravens get better. Now, they said they had Gus Edwards, but then again, Gus Edwards was getting up to that money line, and where did Gus Edwards go to? I think he went to LA Chargers, who had to let Eckler go because they had another casualty. But so don't tell me, all you pundits and all you people out there telling me about, running backs aren't useful, because you're lying.
Who said that?
Last year, remember, they said, we can get the guys that can come off the couch. We're not going to pay them that money. By the time they're 30, they're no good. This was the talk a year ago. Remember Saquon? He got franchised. Josh Jacobs couldn't get a check. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. None of these guys could get a paycheck last year. Swift left Detroit for money. And look, what did Swift do? Swift still got a bag where? Where did he go?
Well, I think it's just an issue because running backs break down. That's why guys are afraid to pay them.
He went back to the Bears.
Yep.
But I know they're afraid to pay him, but that's my whole point. See, when they come to this point where they got to pay him the next check, they cut him. But another team just picks them up and pays them that money they can afford, which the other team couldn't afford. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now they're saying, they're no good. They're no good to you because you're a cap casualty.
Well,
not because
that's the cap world.
That's what. So why doesn't someone say that? That's why I should have said that in the first place. That's what I meant. You know what I mean? The only reason they're switching around is because of the cap, not because they're no good, not because they're needed. Because they
wouldn't have been picked up so quickly for good money if that wasn't the case.
And this is the biggest movement in running backs in how many years? It just came together that all of these guys just happened to be free agents at the same time. That's what I think really played into it. With no team planned this out. Well, I'm going to make sure my guys are free agent the same as them. It's just that with the cap and how you sound, guys. But I'm absolutely fascinated by the fact that all the talk was, I don't know how many places, and running back's my favorite position in the NFL since as a kid. Like, you want to talk about my favorite football players of all time? It's going to be riddled with running backs, okay? The odd guy, Lawrence Taylor, the Brady, whatever, Matt Stafford. But the rest of the guys are all running backs. So I'm glad that it's coming back that way because every team needed running back in the playoffs. Every team that went forward had a running game.
Yeah, well, I mean, every team's defense is so geared towards stopping the pass where it's one of those things where you kind of zig when everyone else is zagging, right?
You hope. But, and it's another thing. It goes back to old school football. With all the analytics and all the things that brought the game forward, it still comes down to what? Who's the toughest in the trenches? Can you stop the ball, run? Can you run the ball? It's still that basic. And this is what I'm saying. This free agency has proved to me that football really never changes. And that's good. And they're not taking off the kickoff either. Heard that too. They're going to modify the kickoff, but they're not taking it away.
Well, they had to do something about it.
Okay, but that's what they're saying. They had to adjust it because nobody wants to take away the kickoff. That's football too. So you know what I mean? It's stuff like that. And now take it one step further. When you're talking about quarterbacks, what were you saying about quarterbacks?
Oh, just all the crazy movement.
Insane. But here's what got me. As we're talking about a copycat league and how everybody looks at things really quickly, okay? Last year was the second most starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Look who got checks. Mitch Trubisky, Jameis Winston, Mariota, Joe Flacco. Who am I missing?
There's one I had.
There's just a bag load because now everyone's scared.
Kirk Cousins.
Oh yeah, but no, he's a starter. But Kirk Cousins now, either him or his agent have to be the craftiest mofo on the planet. Look at this guy gambling on himself. And they gave him $100 million guaranteed coming off an Achilles.
I mean, he's not going to be running, though. So, I mean, the Achilles injury is just kind of like...
You still got to move around on your feet. They have not seen the man.
He's a pocket passer, though.
But you still got to take your 3-step drop. Okay?
It's 3 steps, not like running in a...
I'm not asking him. He can escape when he can. What I'm just saying is that like we said last week, I believe, modern science has done good stuff.
Of course.
That's a career ender 20 years ago. Okay, now that he's back here, but we still haven't seen him play. And you don't know how effective you're going to be when you come back. And I'm going to say another sport, another situation, but Kevin Durant came back 100%. You don't even notice he has an Achilles problem. Klay Thompson, not so much. Same injury. You know what I mean? So I think it was really, really, really bold for Atlanta. $100 million for a 34-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles. Kurt, you're amazing. 2 times franchised. 2 times he was franchised. Then the bag from Minnesota and another bag from Atlanta. Kurt.
Man, is that like one of Washington's big mistakes, letting him go?
Oh, for sure. But you know what their thing is, too? Because they were scared about they were in that situation, too. Did they pay him that money, that huge money for the salary cap?
Because they would have had since.
Obviously, they made a mistake, didn't they? And if they had assigned him at that money at that time for, like, say...
It would have been a steal.
Exactly. And not only that, he could have done that readjusting. So if they stretched it over C years, he could renegotiate. Because suddenly, who renegotiated their contracts? Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, who else? 3 quarterbacks of and
either way.
Yeah, and not only that, Baker Mayfield, which just goes to show you, sometimes you got to let a quarterback develop a couple of years. They rush right in and they kill him. They're going to beat him to death. Like everyone's wondering what they're going to do with Bryce Young in Carolina. Hope they don't kill the guy. Now look at Baker Mayfield. He persevered. And
he got the bag.
And he's a starting quarterback. Was opposed to Jameis Winston and Mariota, who were 1 and 2 in the draft. But where are they? Getting decent paychecks as a backup.
Well, Mariota got paid this offseason too.
Yeah, he got it, but he's a backup. He's basically, because they went to Washington, right?
Yeah.
So all he's going to be is a hold-hander for whoever they draft as a quarterback, which is going to be Nix or the guy from LSU. Like Washington's taking a quarterback, 100%.
Yeah, they got the number 2 pick, right?
Yeah, so they're taking a quarterback. They just need the insurance, just like Anthony Richards got hurt in Indy last year. So what did Indy already do? They bought an insurance policy.
Well, it's like what the Patriots did with Jacoby Brissett, which, by the way, I love that signing.
Well,
I've always thought Brissett was pretty underrated.
Okay, so who's your starter next year? Jacoby until you guys draft the guy, because you're going to draft a quarterback too.
Yeah.
Which makes it
I'm fine with that.
Mac Jones has still got a job in Jacksonville as a backup. That's, you know what I'm saying? It's so, like the NFL.
They can have him.
Like I'm not saying that. It's like people say, well, Mariota, you can have. Jameis Winston, you can have. My point being is this. Everyone's got smart enough to realize when you got these wide open offenses and guys are flying around like no tomorrow, the opportunity to get a shot at these mofos is better than ever. So do you want to be the New York Jets? 4 plays into the season, your season is done.
Of course not.
I don't think Zach Wilson's got a job yet, though, has he?
I don't believe so. I don't know if he's still on contract, though, or is he not?
I think they're going to cut him so they don't have to give him that rookie year money. Isn't that how it works? He's in that part of town where you got to pay him.
No,
He's in
I don't know.
year.
I don't know. I'm not too well versed on the NFL salary cap. But
I'm surprised. A man of your ilk is not that advanced. I thought you'd know more than me about salary cap.
Not in the NFL.
We're gonna. Okay, that's enough. When the show's over, I'm gonna.
There's only so many hours in the day, and I know way too much about hockey. So there's that.
I was just gonna say I appreciate your cap-friendly acumen for our segment, which is about to come. But you know enough about the salary cap. I'm just pulling your leg. Even the NFL, you know way more than the average guy.
I don't.
Really?
No. What do you think about the Steelers getting Russell Wilson and Patrick Queen?
Okay, first of all, that I think that Russell Wilson's going to be maybe a steal, but this just tells you how the NFL works. Okay, your ego can't be bigger than your talent. Your talent has to be bigger than your ego.
Right.
Okay, so when your ego gets so big and you're under money and you can still throw the football, good thing for Pittsburgh because I think Mike Tomlin's the key. Okay, but they got King's the coordinator, right? You're talking about in Pittsburgh? Yeah. That could all go together because guess what? That's an offense that Russell Wilson's been in. So this could be good. And the fact that the Pittsburgh defense is amazing. And not how many years of a window do you have for that? Like they got TJ Watt.
I wouldn't say their defense has been amazing. It's been pretty good.
Top 10, but you know what I mean? It would probably be even better if the fact that they didn't get left out on the field so often because their offense was so bad. Add that to the equation.
They definitely had a play calling issue, which...
Oh, come on. We know Matt Canada was not the guy in the Maple Leaf that they really wanted.
Yeah, but after Matt Canada was out there, the play calling issues didn't go away now, did they?
Well, Mason Rudolph got a ticket too.
He did.
He guy's another one. That just lets you know how things go around. No, but you got to say there's a window of opportunity here for Pittsburgh. They got TJ Watt. They got Micah Hine is a quarterback. What do they got? They got 4 or 5 Pro Bowl type guys on their defense that are in their prime. You can't waste those, and they got them under contract. Because remember, we're just talking about the manipulations of the salary cap. You got to use these guys when you can. So they had to upgrade the offense. So all Russell Wilson has to do is throw 28 touchdown passes. And everyone goes, oh, he got those in garbage time. Whatever. The quarterbacks on the Pittsburgh Steelers in the last 2 years, none of them have thrown 28 touchdowns combined.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it's definitely a step up for Steelers, but I don't know, I still think they're kind of like a 10-7 team despite all this.
I think so too, because they're in a tough division. But then they were talking about the competition. Didn't Kenny Pickett get traded yesterday?
Yeah, he did.
Where'd he get traded to? So to be a backup somewhere. So what's Pittsburgh up to? Who's their backup now? They're going to depend on Russell Wilson? Come on. Could be another Aaron Rodgers smacked in the first game. What do we do for the rest of the year?
Kenny Pickett went to the Eagles.
Yeah, because they wanted a backup because they're scared of Jalen Hurts.
So
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Isn't it? Like you just picked them up. You're talking about Kenny Pickett needs a chance to develop. Kenny Pickett this, Kenny Pickett that. We have weapons. Russell Wilson comes it down. Kenny Pickett's not worth the time of day.
That's the way things go. One other thing I want to bring up that was interesting for NFL offseason is the wide receivers that have been going around too for just draft picks, especially like the Chargers. They're starting from scratch basically.
But they still got Justin Herbert, and they still got...
but Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are gone now.
No, is that both wide receivers?
They both got traded.
But they got another guy, didn't they? Exler's gone too then, right? So you're right. They're going back to the nap. Okay, but they got a couple kids they say are okay. But this, you know what?
But it's supposed to be a good wide receiver draft, so I wonder if that's their plan.
Oh, of course.
To kind of just load up.
Well, that's but sometimes it takes 2 years for these guys to go, which is okay with Harbaugh. He's going to have a season or two to be able to establish his credentials as everybody.
I think he wants to be good right away, though.
Oh, I know he's going to try, but I mean, you gave up all of those guys. That's a lot of salary cap money. That freed up what? I don't know, an insane amount of money.
And they signed Easton Stick. No, do you see the picture of him with an Easton hockey stick?
Yes, that was hilarious. I love the guy's sense of haha. But you know what, though? Let's look at some other things that went on around the league that people don't talk about. First of all, there was $1 billion spent the first day of free agency.
Yeah.
A bill. Did you hear what I just said?
$1 billion.
A bill right after, but let's just start the monolith. That is.
$40 million increase to the salary cap.
Let's just start off at a bill, okay? That's what we're going to do. And how do you get people's attention? How do you win the press? How do you win the week? And does everyone know that's looking on your sport? NFL's done it again. Let's start with the bill. Then there's the crazy things that happen that I think are really cool. Like, you got to think about the division you play in. And that's the part that fascinates me. How do you build your team in accordance to the most successful team in your division? For example, the Raiders went out and stole that guy from Miami, that Wilkins guy, that defensive tackle, that's a beast. He was holding down that Miami defense. Why they let him go, I don't know, but I heard it was a salary cap casualty too. So when the Raiders dumped them, they still had some money. They had money for Minshew and this Wilkins guy who's going to sign up next to Max Crosby. Because guess who they got to go kill? Patrick Mahomes. If you don't, and I'm going, because people don't think like, well, the people in the business know, obviously. But the fans out there, I wonder if you're looking around, like, what did your team do in your division to make sure that you're going to be better for next season? Because if you don't think you're good in your division, go nowhere anyway. You know what I'm saying? So,
but I don't think you could be too focused on like the guys around you because you only play them twice a year anyways.
But they both know you. That's 2 games. You know, and the word around the campfire is you got to split. Okay, so if you split, you win at home or you steal one or whatever, you beat them both, it's bonus. But you guys are going to know each other. You know Kansas City Chiefs are the Super Bowl champions. They got Patrick Mahomes. If you can't get any pressure on this guy, guess what? You ain't even getting out of your division. Which I thought interesting because then the Detroit Lions stole the guy from the Raiders who couldn't pay everybody, their cornerback. And they stole another guy. They stole a couple of guys because they were pretty cap good. You know, especially with Jabbar Gibbs coming last season and our quarterback, Goff, still being in a comfortable place in the salary cap world. And we're still got the young guys. All those young guys are still on rookie deals for the 5 years, you know, like Hutch, the corners and all those guys. But we picked up a couple guys because we're looking in our division now. Minnesota, we're not going to have to so worry about now. It's freaking Jordan Love in Green Bay.
Yep.
That guy's going to fire the ball out. We seen what he did to our secondary last year. What did we do? We went out and picked up secondary gear.
And what's Chicago going to do? I think that's pretty interesting now. I mean, I still think that they're going to trade Justin Fields.
To who? That's
you don't think
my
so?
last conundrum. We spent all these time talking about how valuable quarterbacks could be. Do you know that the Raiders could have signed, just taken him and paid less, like paying him the $15 million, because what did they pay Gardner Minshew? $16 million. So who would you rather have?
So is he going to be the starter there? I don't understand that.
This is why we're talking about it. What happened to something went wrong on the Justin Fields grade because these guys got to talk around the league. Look at all these quarterbacks that got signed. And
I
they
still
got signed
think
a backup.
Still go to the Raiders.
No, they just gave Minshew the money. And what did Minshew sign for 2 years?
Yeah.
But that's only because that salary cap bullshit. They can cut him next year and not lose too much money, like probably a $5 million.
Come on, is Gardner Minshew going to be your starting quarterback? No.
This year, why not for the Raiders? He kept the Indy in there. Indy made the playoffs, didn't they?
I would say they made it
by default.
Him. Yeah.
Okay, but still, he was a starting quarterback that made the playoffs.
How about the Giants?
That's going to be, I think, you know what? It's very disappointing because they got Dable as a coach. What did they do? Did they do kind of like McDermott in Buffalo where they took the big step up and then say, we got to step back to go forward again? Because remember McDermott's first year in Buffalo, I think he made the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he goes, this is a fraud. We got to cut all these guys. Because I think another thing when we're talking about that, I think Buffalo Bills are another team that's in big trouble next year because look at all the guys they had to let go.
Oh, yeah.
Especially on defense.
The cap caught up to them.
Exactly. And so they had to make their shot next year. So that's another thing about talking about formulas and guys like that. I think New England tried it. They did it a bit in the Brady days. And Philadelphia seems to do it is load up on young guys in the draft.
Oh,
you know, to make your team and play them right away because with the calorie, that's the only way you got a chance. At quarterback number one, we know that. But you really think about it, all the other positions, keep them under those 5-year guys. Have a good scouting system. Be a San Francisco. Be a Kansas City. Be a Philadelphia. Be a New England. You guys are relatively successful except on the offensive end. You know what I mean? But in any event, fascinating offseason.
Yeah, and it's not going to be over by a long shot. Obviously, the draft is still, a month away?
And nobody wins the Super Bowl in March.
No.
This just gives us shit to talk about. Like some of these teams, like let's just see, like I'm going to mark it down because this is March 13th?
16th.
I'm going to mark 16th on my notes. And these teams that made the dramatic moves to be on the top, I want to see what their records are next year. Like Pittsburgh might not even make the playoffs. They're going to bring in Russell Wilson.
The Raiders might lose both their games to the Chiefs despite these moves.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So next on our schedule, bro, where are we going next?
We're going to take this one of our favorites here at the House That Happens. The Toronto Blue Jays continue to truck along spring training, even though they got a loss to your Detroit Tigers yesterday.
I'm not overly concerned about that, but I said something last week, and it might have sounded really, really insane. But how many days are we now? We're now 10 days before the season starts.
Yeah.
I'm on record as saying it, bro, and I'm scouring the league, and I hopefully know before the season starts who is the surprise player that the Toronto Blue Jays brings in to their lineup before the season starts.
Who is it?
I'm not sure. I'm looking around the league and seeing who's going to get cut, who's going to get played, who they're going to trade for, okay? There's got to be a guy out there. Is it JT Martinez? No, because we already got Justin Turner. Okay, now there's a couple of guys. I'm looking around the league, and this is going to sound insane, but okay, let's set some guys that are getting a little bit overpaid that maybe need a change of scenery, that maybe are going to score more. Would Rendon look good in our lineup? Would he look on him third base? What if this is his comeback season?
I don't care. I'm not taking that risk.
You're not going to take the risk?
No.
Okay, so anyways, I don't know if it's going to be Rendon. I don't know if it's going to be...
I don't think the Jays are going to pick up a guy who's going to be big money. No chance.
I'll say a guy around $10 million salary?
Probably not.
Who's going to play third base?
The guy Keener Falefa, whatever, the guy we got from the Yankees.
Oh, we can't even say his name, okay? Now, wait a second here. There's somebody else on the free agent market out there, right? Isn't there? Is there one more guy?
I don't know. This is
okay. Anyways,
this is your hot take.
My take is I was looking around the league and then I couldn't really find anybody. I just found JT Martinez, but okay, I'm going to put it this way. I think the Jays are going to pull off what Las Vegas did when nobody heard about the Hurdle trade. Came out of nowhere. Oh God, suddenly it's in Vegas. I say that the Toronto is going to do that. I'm just trying to look at the camps.
Why do you think the Jays are going to do that, though?
Because they need more offense and they just need a little bit more. They need another kick in their lineup.
Oh, so you're thinking that this front office runs on logic. That's your first mistake.
You're killing me. You're just killing me. Then my take my take did? Like those birds on top of the junk place in Leslieville that they're shooting cannons that scare them away. You just shot a cannon off and just blew my take out of the water. But I'm telling you, bro, I don't know. Like, I've been looking at this book, I've been looking around. I don't know. Could it be like who's Boston got sitting around that was pretty good that might not be playing now? They got an outfielder. Let me go and look in my little book here. There's a couple guys there.
I don't know, but
I'm saying that another thing is, are they going to be happy with the two guys in Minnesota? Korea's going to stay there. Just get him signed. He's not having the greatest thing. He's bitching in Minnesota already, and they got that outfielder too. What's his name?
So why do you think he'd be happy in Toronto?
I don't know if they'll be happy in Toronto. I just got a gut feeling that something's going to go on.
I couldn't see the Jays going after Correa.
Okay, I don't think so either because he's got too much money. But I'm saying a guy that can hit the ball. I'm saying a 20-80 guy.
20-80. Like
20 home runs, 80 RBIs.
Yeah.
That plays some decent, you know what I mean? He's not going to be in the outfield. Okay, because right now, look at it. I'm already worried about the team. I love baseball. I'm getting excited. I'm retired. I'm going to be sitting at home for the very first day of baseball.
I wouldn't get your hopes up about a big move coming before the start of the season. I think they did it with Joey Votto. I think that's the big move.
Come on. If that's your big move, stop it. Stop it. Hey, Joey, welcome to the city. We're in Etobicoke. Come by.
He will be playing games with the big team soon, it looks like.
Oh, yeah, he's on his way up. But look we have gaps in this team. Not only that.
I know.
Why don't we do
Everyone's got gaps, though, if you look across the league, though.
I think Baltimore now, we haven't played a game yet. Stop the Yankees. The Yankees just get too much press about nothing. And they should get press now because they got Gerrit Cole.
Yeah, he's out to 10 to 12 weeks.
I say he doesn't play for the rest of the season. Gone. Rest of the season. That type of injury, they're going to work it. They're going to work it. It's going to be the DeGrom thing. Remember they said they could work it and work it. Now you're gone for the season. And he's still got 4 years left on his contract. It's that weird one, that Alter whatever one. That's the one you rest forever. You got to give that time up. He says it's only sprained.
I was going to say with the Yankees, though, I think all they need to do is just hold on for like the first couple months of the season.
Who's in the rotation?
It's okay. They got some guys that can pitch. But
so do we.
And they got a good bullpen, though. Don't forget that. So do we.
I think theirs is a little better.
The Jays can't hit, though, like the Yankees can. That's the thing.
That's the issue right there. So what wins more, pitching or hitting, especially early in the years? It's going to be the hitting. So that could put you ahead where you got to come from behind. I don't know.
The
Is it
Jays
pitching
pitching is
end?
going to be that great, though.
Oh, but here, that's what I'm saying. My gut feeling is, like, I'm not an executive, but let's look at the team. Let's look what's going on here. There's a hole. There's more. Danny Jansen's now banged up.
I know.
So who's going to catch with
Well,
Kirk?
Kirk can't play every day, right?
There you go. Okay, so there's another thing. One of the kids in the minors I like. That kid's
He
not going
could
to
be
make the
like a fill-in for a couple weeks or whatever. I'm not too worried about that. It's
It's
starting
the
pitching.
Danny Jansen's history that I'm worried about.
Well, that and it's starting pitching with the Jays. It's
Gozman isn't throwing. No, Gozman's throwing now. Manoah's doing light toss. So
Kikuchi
looked good in okay. You're just saying
he's looked okay.
Well, so is the Yankees guys. The Yankees guys have looked okay. The Boston guys.
The Yankees can actually hit though. That's the thing.
What are they doing over there in Tampa Bay? They don't know about their rotation yet.
They'll find a guy. They'll find guys.
So why can't we?
Because how have we proved it? We haven't.
Tideman's pitched yesterday.
He got roughed up yesterday.
Okay, well, it's his first start in a while. We'll see. We got what? We got 10 days. We got 10 days. No, 11
I'm not feeling
days.
too optimistic.
I'm trying to. I'm just saying, Blue Jays, go out and get that guy.
Even the Red Sox, like everyone on the team can hit. Their pitching is a little, but
okay, so
they're kind of a diet version of the Yankees in that way.
Well,
they don't have the bullpen.
I'm just looking at it this way: because we're from Canada, we do not get the press or any of the stuff that the American teams get. I tell you, you watch MLB Network, right? I watch MLB Network.
I do not watch MLB Network.
We don't get enough. What we do? We have to shoot somebody or have an explosion or something.
I thought they do talk a lot about the Jays on there.
Nah, not as much as they do. Because now, like they were in the last couple of years, because it looked like you know what it is with the Jays? They gave them so much love, and then when the Jays screwed up, they're going, there's one of those teams that are just they're never going.
Well, there we go. Then they blew their chance.
Well, no, I don't think so. I think we got the core. The core. We need extra pieces. Like
core. They haven't won a playoff game, Cruz.
But this is the year they're going to do it. If
no,
they
they're
get
not.
In.
They're not going to make it in.
You know why they're not going to make it in? My
or they're going to make it in. They're going to get swept again.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see another Minnesota situation. I'm saying the reason they're not going to get it in is because they were reasonably good on defense, especially on the infield. People don't know how valuable Chapman is now that he's gone. This guy from
but they
New York,
sold off too much hitting and they never replaced it.
Oh, exactly. That was number one. We know that. So this is
that was their team's identity, and they blew it.
I agree. So let's go back to my theory: 3% increase in everybody's production, and we're going to be okay. I'm going to live by.
That doesn't happen. Show me one example where that's happened.
Arizona last year got 3% more production out of their offense than they did the year before, and they went
from
to the
guys
World
we
Series.
gave them.
Well, I'm just saying.
No one threw us a life raft this year.
I'm just saying that that's the way it could go down. I'm just saying that I agree with you in this. When we started last year before it, we weren't jumping up and down about Varsho or Kiermaier, but we were the season before us when we first started the show. The thing that scared us the most was we loved Teoscar, we loved Gurriel.
Yeah.
But their defense was scaring us. So what we thought was maybe we'd get a mod from a guy like Kiermaier.
I thought trade one. I didn't think trade both.
Oh,
that was my problem.
Too. Yes. Okay, now you traded both. What are we going to do on the bats? Now, we all know that the Varsho trade is going to be the worst in Jays history. I don't care. It's already been that way. But we tried to sell it as a guy that was a left-handed power hitter to go down the line to give us 25. The guy couldn't hit 18. Okay, whatever the case may be.
No, didn't he hit over 20?
Yeah, whatever. Oh, late garbage ones. Okay, but when we needed him, where was he? So what I'm saying is that can the guy hit 25 this year? But that's not my point. My point is that there was definitely a chemistry defense thing that we talked about with the jackets, the dicking around, all that kind of shit. And we're going, what's going on here? And then the lapses and, Gurriel coming in, ball going over his head. Teoscar coming in, ball going over his head. I'd live with that in a second now because their arms always saved us in the end.
Sure.
Okay? But now you're right. That's an interesting point you made. Let's keep that in our back pockets. We had an identity as a power-hitting team. We're going to smash ball you, and our defense is going to hold up because we got a little bit of a bullpen.
And Chapman, who was kind of part of that identity, is gone too.
There you go. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't understand how this guy from New York, we can't even say his name, Infideli, whatever. Okay.
Kiner Falefa.
Whatever his name is.
He's starting at third base.
Killing me. I'm hoping something else goes on. One of these minor league kids.
The thing I don't like about that is that Biggio is starting at second, and I don't love him starting at second.
I don't like tall second basemen for starters. He tall. That's what I mean.
I mean, his bat kind of works for second base, but
okay, but right, okay, we can say that. But I mean, maybe this is time. He's only 26, 25.
Only 26. You are who you are at that point.
Well, maybe you get a little better. Some guys are late blossoms. We got to start thinking about the 3%,
He's
bro.
always, but like, there's nothing that would make me think that these guys would all improve 3%.
Okay, then I'm going to give you a break. 80% of the guys get 3% better. Can I keep selling
80%
of the guy? Give me 3%. Come on. We got to have some optimism. This is a long baseball season. It's going to kill us. What if the Jays are 10 games under June 1st? We'll be dying.
I don't think it's going to be that bad. I think they're going to just hover around 500
You're
all year.
killing me. You make it sound like your tone of voice tells me, Cruz, get into a long one. It's going to be rough. We're going to be
I'm looking forward to watching TFC and the Argos this summer.
The TFC is going to save it. The Argos, here we go. No, man, we got to have
some WNBA games.
Oh, gee, here we go. You're killing me. No, we can't. I'm saying now, my belief is this. It's the defense that's going to kill us now. It's that
our offense is going to. Kiermaier's batting 7th.
Oh, gee, that's
Kiermaier, Kiner, Falefa, and Biggio are 7, 8, 9.
Oh, gee, that's a murderer's row right in 1927 Yankees, isn't it? No,
Varsho's batting 5th. I don't know why.
Oh my God, you're
Maybe it's just
killing
a lack of lefties up there.
I knew I should have brought alcohol to this show. Damn that, but we better have. I'm telling you, you're already saying you're worried about our pitching. Okay,
I'm worried about everything.
Well, we're getting to that, aren't we? Pretty much everything. I'm saying last year, part of the reason that we guys hit ground balls. We had a good defense.
Yeah.
We were solid, so that always helps your pitching staff. We can't hit. We weaken the defense, and we're questioning our 5 starters. 10 games under June 1st?
Well, I'm not quite... Okay, Berrios is going to be our opening game starter. I think he's going to be okay. Gosman, when he's healthy, I'm going to be confident in.
I'm starting to think that maybe he just took the spring training off, that he'll just do late. I've seen guys just do this in the past. Their arms
but the fact that it doesn't even look like he's going to start opening day is still a bit of a concern, don't you think?
I think the latest I heard is he might miss a rotation. And at the time,
that's a little bit more than just taking spring training off, then, don't you think?
Well, just a little get his arm warmed up.
No, come on. If you're ready, starting later, you're ready to go day 1 if you're a professional. Come on.
He still might be ready day 1. We don't know.
Doesn't look like it.
Well, they said worst case scenario is 2 starts.
He's not going to be starting opening day though.
Okay,
where he should be.
Oh, but you know what's even better? He'll start opening day at home because we have all our games on the road to start. So that's all. I'm going to look at that. I caught that one there, buddy. I knew I had some lawyer in me. Let's just take a look at the Toronto Blue Jays.
So we're going to be a step behind just so we could start him opening our home
we're going to steal some games on the road because they're going to be cucka too. Come on, who do we start off against? Tampa Bay. We don't know what Tampa Bay's doing.
Jays can't win in Tampa Bay last time I checked.
Okay, here's our starting season, and this will give us a good barometer of what's going on. First 9 games of the year on the road. 3 in Tampa, 3 in Houston, and 3 with the New York Yankees. And then we start home.
4 in Tampa to start.
4 in Tampa, 3 in Houston. And then we get a day off, and we've got 3 in New York.
That's going to be tough.
Okay, so that's April 8th is that date by then. Okay, so that's a lot of time for Guzman to be ready for the opening day start. He'll be the opening day starter for the Toronto Blue Jays on that
home
day.
Home
opener will be Guzman, and we'll go. Let's go. Let's do it. We're good. I'm telling you, we'll be all right. Now, let's be theoretical. Nobody knows what's going on in Tampa Bay. Nobody.
I can wager.
Nobody. Look, they've lost guys in the lineup. They've lost pitching. They've lost relief.
Yeah, but they're Tampa Bay. They've just find guys like those pull guys out of their ass.
Okay, that's
Yandy Diaz and Randy Arozarena are still going to hit the cover off the ball.
Oh God, great guys. Those are great here, but they're losing their 14-year-old girl guy. What's his name?
But everyone on that team can play defense. All of them
they're
can hit at
always
least 250.
They
can all hit for decent average.
They lost Glass now. The other guy got hurt, and who else did they lose? They're like, that's the thing is. That's why I think Baltimore could skate with the division adding Corbin. Burns.
I think Tampa still makes the playoffs, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, and you're saying Toronto can't? What's so much better about Tampa than Toronto?
Defense, pitch coaching.
We got Don Mattingly now. Did you hear Don Mattingly? He's got everybody's attention.
I'll believe it when I see it.
No, Mattingly came in last year. He was the nice uncle. This year, he's the gnarly grandfather.
I'll believe it when I see the results.
I think that he should have taken more control of the team last year with that position, but he didn't want to step on Schneider's toes. Now he's
going to step on his toes.
No, just it's going to be like when you do a football team. You let the coordinator make the calls and you don't question it. That's why you got a coordinator.
Why is that changing this year, though?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
That's weird.
So then,
isn't that a bit of a red flag?
No, that means that maybe Akins and Shapiro are going to sit in the box office and shut the front door.
And pigs are going to fly tomorrow.
Okay, we got to have optimism here.
You're believing that that Atkins and Shapiro are going to that they're going to change, but then you won't believe my thing that everyone going up 3% is ridiculous. Come on.
They're giving us the baseball experience at the Rogers Center.
Oh wow.
They're giving us the baseball. They've changed what would you call it? A neutral zone, nothing. Retractable dome stupidity into the baseball experience. You're going to feel like you're at a field of dreams.
How's that going to help the team on the field?
I don't know, but I'm just saying this. They better. I'm saying let's be optimistic. We split Tampa Bay. Start 2-2. We going into Houston. If we win one game, let's be hoping we win one game because Houston's pissed.
And it looks like they're going to sign Blake Snell any day
And they're going to
start
Blake Snell. And they're even thinking about getting Montgomery. Montgomery's still out there. Like they got Houston's got money. So we do that. Then we got the Yankees. We don't know who the Yankees are going to be doing by then. They might be hitting. We might be pitching. So let's just say we got 10 games. 5-5 coming home for the home opener. Will you be happy with that?
I would be happy, but I think
okay. So I'm going for 5-5. 5-5. Look what this national magazine has said our lineup to be. And I don't always trust.
When was this magazine published?
January this year. This come out. We wrote the thing. They're saying possibly what would happen. Here's their lineup for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Okay.
First base, Vladimir Guerrero.
Obviously.
Second base, David Schneider.
No, it's going to be Biggio.
That's what I'm saying. Shortstop, Bo Bichette.
Obviously.
Third base, they had Kevin Biggio, which I think he's better there.
They've given him the third base before, and it didn't go well a couple years ago. Remember that?
Made some errors.
Made a lot of errors.
Okay, but he could be better.
And he doesn't have the bat.
Well, okay, that's
third base is a power position.
And look who we're putting there. That guy can hit. Stop it.
Better than Biggio.
Who? That falafel guy?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Look at their numbers.
Okay, very whatever. That guy just had some hits.
They can hit 250. Biggio's never done that.
Okay, doesn't he hit 248? Didn't he?
Close enough? I think it's like 230, 220 has been his highest.
Yeah, and all three guys in the outfield are as advertised. Yeah. They had Varsho, Kiermaier, and Springer. They had Kirk as our catcher, and they had as our DH, Danny Jansen. But we didn't. We hadn't signed.
Yeah, Justin Turner wasn't signed yet.
Wasn't signed during record this, and then we had they had the five guys in the rotation that we expected to be, but we don't know about Tideman's going to be. And look, we've got three good guys in the bullpen: Romano, Swanson, and Cabrera. And those couple other guys are good.
What Jimmy Garcia are we going to get this year, though? That's the question.
Oh, and what's his name too? Nate Pearson seems to have turned it around suddenly.
I hope
he did. Like, remember that first outing we were talking about the show a couple weeks ago? He got. Oh, you almost said that again. Whoops.
I had to bleep it out last week.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. I mean, I almost said it again. That's not. I won't. Caught myself getting better. Anyway, since then he's been pitching much better. And I've looked at the Jays numbers for the guys that are projected to make the team. Like, we lose a lot of games 9-6, 10-5. But you see the guys that are giving up a lot of that stuff now are guys that are going to be going to Buffalo anyway.
We'll see. With Nate Pearson, though, like, if he can get together, he would be a perfect guy to have, like, in the seventh inning.
Yes, and who else is there? We got one more guy. I should be looking over here. We got a couple guys that could very well.
Either way, we should wrap up baseball.
Anyways, I'm just saying.
That's just actually the one trade that happened. Dylan Cease traded to San Diego for 3 of the Padres' top 10 prospects and a relief pitcher.
Huge deal. But San Diego is making a move. And let's talk about this right now. Let's get excited about that Josh Holiday kid in Baltimore. Right now, have you heard about him?
No. What position?
I think he's an outfielder. I believe. Let's get ready for this kid.
Okay, another prospect for Baltimore. Yay.
That's what I mean. Did you see the kid? His old man is the guy that used to play for St. Louis back in the day, Holiday.
Oh, really?
What's his name?
He played with Colorado too, right?
Yeah, he played with Colorado. Yeah. What's his name? Yeah, I'm having
Matt Holiday.
Matt Holiday. It's Matt Holiday's kid.
Wow.
Should see him. Have you seen him lately? Like he had a crazy year, and he moved up the prospect list. You seen him in spring training so far? Vicious. He looks like he's ready to play.
Okay.
What did they say here? I even think they said here they mentioned him. Let's just say Jackson Holiday, top prospect, and he's their number 2 prospect.
Ooh.
But since they've got him up into spring training this year, he's ripping it. Looks like he's going to make the big team. And look, he wasn't even mentioned as a guy to make it as a starter on the Orioles. But look at who their starters are projected. Cole Irvin, he's having trouble right now, isn't it? He isn't pitching that great in the spring. Grayson Rodriguez has been.
Yeah.
He's been pitching good. They don't have Corbin Burns in here yet because they've been traded. Bradish has been, he's got a Gozman issue right now. Like, is he going to be ready for opening day? They're not sure. This Creamer guy, I don't even think he's going to make the lineup because they got another guy in, didn't they? So, like I'm saying, and this John Means guy, is he going to make the team? He hasn't been. They got other guys from their last year's team. So, as much as we're saying what's going to happen in baseball, we don't know shit.
Yeah, but Baltimore's got a good defense, and they're going
good
to be able to hit
they're
their way out of problems.
And they're going to do it. And they, it's too bad they lost their reliever, but they picked up Kimball. So let's see what happens. Anyways, we're talking about next week. We're not sure where we're going to be recording from, but don't be surprised if we have a surprise location. And if not next week, the week after, within the next 2 weeks, to have our Major League Baseball preview.
Yeah, right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
We'll turn it over to something in full swing right now, the National Basketball Association, where injuries are affecting the standings more than anything else.
Unbelievable. But that's the difference between a lot of the sports because the size of the roster in the NBA is so damn small. All you have to do is kick one guy in the ankles and you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the LA Clippers being number 1.
Oof.
Okay, they're already I think everybody's going to be ready for the playoffs, but then it comes back to that whole thing about history with Kawhi and Paul George. Do they have enough health to get them to make the run?
Yeah.
Because I don't care and it's really come up is that Kawhi was definitely a top 5 candidate for MVP. Some people said top 3. Some people even said if they won the division or if they won the conference, he could have been there. But let's not talk about that because
they never really got close to number 1 in the conference.
No. So let's just say in the house that happens. Let's confirm this right now. Who is the MVP in the NBA?
It's probably Jokic.
Thank you very much. That's just the consensus view here at the house that happens.
But our boy Shea's got to be right up there, too.
Oh, he is, too. But because
leading the league in steals per game.
Oh, and he's been shooting well. But because Denver chased him down, now who's in first place, okay?
It's Denver.
You got it. Now that Denver's chased him down, they got all the ducks in order. People forget about the depth with guys like Aaron Gordon. Like Denver, we're looking at is yeah. But you know what? If Denver plays
5 wins in a row, 9-1 their last 10.
Oh yeah, and I heard this. I heard this story. I don't know how true it is. Some whispered yes, some whispered no because they're not verifying it. But a couple players have said off the record. Nikola is not a big social media guy.
No, he's not.
He's not a large voice in the dressing room, but he's a funny voice. Like when he says something, people crack up. You've seen the commercials with.
Oh yeah, he's hilarious.
Yeah, where did this personality come from? I love it. Okay, and which I was jibing him a bit last year. You know that before until he does something. Cruz was saying this, but okay, I've done a little bit of a 360. In any event, 180, whatever it is. Yeah, what am I saying? I'm thinking about track. What had happened, they said, was just before the All-Star break, Denver was kind of in a weird win 1, win 2, lose 1.
Although they were always top 3 in the West.
Okay, they were there. But he said to them they'd lost a couple games. I think one of them was to Portland. And out of nowhere, he sent a text to everybody on the team. They went 9-1 since the text.
Wow.
9
That's a leader.
1 is that not a leader? So there's many ways to lead, so to speak.
Absolutely.
But there's Nikola. And if you just see the way he plays, and we were talking off record of the show, when does he become designated as one of the greatest centers of all time, except for right now? He's got to be considered. He's got 2 MVPs, right?
2 MVPs. I mean, it's looking
now
like
he's got the championship. It looks like he's going to repeat. Looks like he's going to rinse, repeat. I'm just saying that a guy like that develops a character on your team that you're good enough that you have a guy named Jamal Murray who's very comfortable being a Robin. Now, how many times we say this on a show? There's nothing disrespectful about being a Robin,
No,
is there?
of course not.
Okay, so he's got the best Robin in the world. Then they got that Michael Porter Jr. guy who can shoot the lights out.
Aaron Gordon.
Aaron
Keep
Gordon
going.
does all the dirty work. I'm saying once it comes to the playoffs now, like I'm saying, the injury bug affects people right away. Okay, you know what I mean? Like, is Steph Curry back in the lineup yet? I'm not sure. I think he's going to come back.
I don't think so.
I think what saved it for a lot of teams this week, and we've already discussed this, is that a lot of arenas were taken up this week by college basketball.
Yeah,
around the country.
The tournaments,
all the tournaments that took up a lot of, I think, so it slowed it down. So that gave the opportunity for guys to sit and maybe rest a little more, because you look on the average night of the week, there was one or two hockey games. One night, tonight's our big slate, right? We're getting the hockey slate back, and I still don't think it's 16 games.
No, it's 14 or something though. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, but it's most it's been since last Saturday night.
14 hockey games tonight.
Yeah, 14 games. That's what I thought it was too, because I did count them. I did look at them yesterday.
Only 5 more Saturdays left to go for hockey, by the way.
know.
Not to get too off topic, but
because we're talking about baseball. It does not start in the spring, so to speak, and the endless season called the NFL, which is taken over because the draft is in a month. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, think about that. In any event, right now I'm just saying, we talked about this last week, but let's just tighten up on it. What's going on in NBA right now, I think it's pretty well settled except for the seedings. And our beloved Toronto Raptors have now become a part of that, because now that you're losing 6 in a row, we know who's not going to be in the play-in and who is.
Yeah, although in the East, like, would you be surprised if the Atlanta Hawks fell out and Brooklyn stole that last spot?
No, I think Brooklyn's done because they
only
let
3
Dinwiddie
games
go.
back.
No, I think they're done because they let Dinwiddie go, and this time last year and 2 years ago, you were hoping for them. They looked like
but Atlanta's had a history of choking the last few years.
Atlanta's got Trae Young. Screw him. He's leaving. He won't even be playing there next year. Can I still say one of the guys I hate the most is Trae Young? Guy's such a little bitch. And they're 10th right now, right?
Yeah, they're 10th.
But people they're scared to go in because they got a couple players. What if they shoot the lights out? Because the Bulls are in 9th, right?
Yeah, they're in 9th.
And they're only in 9th because of default. Look at all the teams that are behind that are in there. The Raptors, the Pistons,
Charlotte, Detroit,
Washington.
The East is shit.
Come on.
The East is shit.
So I'm just saying that Chicago and Atlanta are basically there because of default. So there should be no reason why they get out of the play-in, because the play-in is going to boil down to who? Who else is there in the East?
So Miami and Philly are the 7-8 right now. Philly's fallen way back since Embiid.
They can't recover because you know what I mean, because they were based around Embiid, and like, you know,
they might not even make the playoffs. Like,
I think they're gonna hold on, but they're gonna be there by default.
But like you said, what if they go into Miami, they lose? That's not too far fetched now, is it?
No.
And then they play Atlanta. Atlanta shoots the lights out.
They're done.
There you go.
Yeah, you're right. They might not even make
even Chicago's one of those teams that could like just turn up the offense.
They could win a game
right?
too, but I say once they get in there, because they got to play the top, because suddenly we got to have respect for the Milwaukee Bucks. Somehow, some way, Doc Rivers has turned them around. They're actually playing a modicum of defense. Look at them. They are second in the East. What is their record? 7-3 in their last 10, I believe. But no, what is better now?
Yeah, but the teams that they're beating haven't been too impressive. It's been a lot of teams that have been like stubbing their toes.
Agreed. And the big games, when they get the opportunity, they seem to lose those ones. Like they lost to the Lakers, but they beat. Okay, here's what's weird.
They beat the Hornets twice in this stretch that they're on. Like,
okay, but when they went out west, it was weird. They lost to the Lakers. They beat Sacramento. Sacramento beat the Lakers.
Sacramento?
I think they beat Sacramento in one of these runs. Did they?
No, they lost to Sacramento.
Oh, they did? What was the final?
129-94.
Oh, yeah.
They got slapped.
Who else did they play? Did they beat the Clippers?
They beat the Clippers,
okay,
but that's one of those teams that's been stubbing their toes, so they kind of got them in an opportunist time.
So that was the losing part that I didn't get.
Yeah.
Which is good, because Sacramento beat them both, because Sacramento is better. Like, they had a lot of injuries to start the year, but now they got everybody back. And DeAndre Fox was banged up game. So look at them. They're playing their best basketball.
Sacramento's looking pretty good.
I love them.
I told you about that Anthony Davis stat, right?
Oh, yeah.
0-10 against Sabonis first career.
Unbelievable.
Insane.
And so they don't even want no part. They want no part of Sacramento, which means
they probably won't even play each other in the playoffs the way it's seeded right now.
Like Sacramento's in 6th, right?
Yeah, the Lakers would be a play-in.
And I think that Sacramento can only climb more, because the Lakers got to be careful, because now Phoenix is in the play-in, right? No, they won last night. So
no, they're in the play-in.
Oh, Phoenix is in the play-in? They number 7?
Yeah, they're the number 7 seed.
Got another team that can't keep their whole lineup together for an extended period of time. Like, they're having a lot of issues.
I mean,
like,
they were a team I was pretty high on early, but they just cannot put it together. That no one's been healthy. I mean, it's been part of the problem. But eventually, like, you have to see some sort of consistency for me to believe in you going to the playoffs, right?
Agreed. And I'm that's why I'm more confident in the Clippers than I am in Phoenix. Just because they've been more consistent on the way that they're going there. But I'm telling you, some nights when that Phoenix team gets rolling, Booker, Beal, and Durant.
But they don't always get rolling. That's the issue.
And they got Grayson Allen. Every one of those teams that got they've got that guy. Like Milwaukee's got Portis. You got Grayson Allen. Denver's got Aaron Gordon. You need that guy that does the dirty work. You know, the guy that. And Boston's got 3 of them. But I say the biggest problem with this, Boston may go to the finals, but I just don't understand why a team not good that can go into the paint, shoot so many threes. And if Jason Tatum wants to be known as the best player in the league or an MVP or a face of the league, he's got to start making some big shots at the end of the game this year. Do you see how many times the ball's been in his hands to win games this year, and he hasn't done it? Against big teams, he could have beat Denver. He could have put the thing up. He didn't do it. And then Denver went on the 5-point run, then they lost. You know, those big games, he doesn't have the shot. And I'm saying this. You live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Absolutely, especially in the NBA.
Exactly. So Boston, I think they shoot as many threes as anybody in the league.
Yep.
That's crazy.
It's bit them in the ass before.
Agreed. So what are you saying now? So what at the top right now? We should get to our power rankings.
I'm thinking New Orleans has been turning it up recently.
Oh, I forgot about those guys. Yeah, that's another team, though, that have got all their guys back together. I think that Brandon Ingram is the most underrated player in the NBA, by the way.
He's definitely up there.
That's what I say. I've had him on my fantasy team. I can't keep him, but that guy's a pure shooter. He's not afraid of the moment. Another thing about the Pelicans is, with Valanciunas and Zion, who's learned suddenly of late, play defense. That team's got some solid defenders, and they're going to be. Are they in 4th place right now? Did they get up
5th?
They're up to 5th.
They're 2 games back of the Clippers after beating them last night.
So that means if you get the first-round play against New Orleans and the Clippers, what a series is going to be. Which get back to my other theory: whatever the NBA does during the regular season to piss you off, load management, bad back-to-backs, horrible scores, ridiculous blowouts. All of a sudden, the playoffs start, and they got crazy freaking lineups or matchups. Mm-hmm. Just think they can start the playoffs, Golden State against the LA Lakers. Now,
it's a one-off.
Okay, and they would rather have that in the conference finals, of course. Sure. I mean, but with the league built the way it is, that suddenly you can have 2 marquee teams just to start off your players. Everyone's going to look at that game.
Well, the West is just that crazy too, right?
It's
like the Western playoffs is going to be way more interesting than the East. Where,
that's what I'm of that.
Like the East, you might get some good series in between. But
when you get down to the Final 4 in the East, who's it really going to be? You're going to say Boston can beat them all.
Boston, yeah.
Milwaukee's going to be there. Okay, Cleveland is the outlier.
Should be Cleveland, and then the Knicks too,
healthy.
But
the Knicks haven't been healthy.
It depends on health.
If they start the way they were, because remember a month ago when Anunoby was there, before Anunoby got hurt, they lost Randall and then they lost Anunoby a week later. Mm-hmm. They haven't been the same since. Well, you couldn't beat 2. That's 2 of your starters. But if they come back, look at that team when they had Anunoby and Randall in there. They were 9-1 with the arrival of Anunoby. You know what I mean?
And without him, they've been garbage.
100%. They haven't gone nowhere. But here's what's even worse. They got a coach that runs players into the ground. Thibodeau, they say. Brunson's out there all the time now. Like, what's he going to? You going to have any legs left when the playoffs come?
Hold on. In hockey, you don't like using this argument about guys staying out there for too long. But in basketball?
No, because you run it differently. Like, I'm just talking about this is a whole game. In hockey, just skate an extra 15 seconds. We'll get to that in a minute.
But your problem is like guys on the ice for like 2 minutes though. I'm talking about. You
should stay on the ice for 2 minutes. Get in shape.
Okay, you say that for Jalen Brunson then.
No, but I'm saying this is like if you played Samsonov every game for the rest of the year. You wouldn't do that, would you? You're not going to kill the guy.
Okay, but it's different though. I would say it's more comparable to like playing Matthews 30 minutes a night all of a sudden. It wouldn't work.
I think he could play close.
Every night?
Well, no, because
playing forward is a lot more intensive than playing defense, though, right?
I will give you that, but here's what I'm hoping.
Anyways.
Here's what I'm hoping. What would happen in that situation is that the Leafs would be so far ahead, so like the other night against Philadelphia. Once they scored a couple goals in the last 10 minutes, how much did Matthews and Nylander play?
Oh, not much.
There you go.
They put the fourth line out there for the power play.
Exactly.
That's how little they cared.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what you're hoping if Matthews does play 30 minutes. He won't. He'll get up to 25. They'll be so far ahead, they won't need him in that situation. Where I'm talking about in New York, they need Brunson every freaking second just to stay in the game.
Exactly.
So that would wear him out as opposed to 2-minute shifts.
2-minute shifts are going to wear you out there because hockey, you're skating like as hard as you can for your shift, right?
We're going to argue about this till the day I die. I swear. They haven't been saying it so much because a couple guys I heard on MLB Network said about guys going up and down and saying you're tired. And one of the guys, and it was...
MLB Network.
I mean, NHL Network. And it was, you know who said it too? Oh, God, I'm going to lose my mind.
Anyways.
In any event, he said this. He said that everyone talks about the advancement in the game, the sticks, the pucks, the ice, the equipment, the speed, the play. All better than, say, 1990.
Right.
We concur. Then he says he can skate 2 minutes, too. That was his theory. What's his name?
Okay, but you're out there against guys that are fresh off the bench, though. That's the thing. Who have the same conditioning as you.
Oh, my God. We're going to argue about this forever because I'm saying...
Then why does it happen so much when a guy's pressing his end for 2 minutes that they get scored on?
That happens not as much as you'd think it is. That's just one of those... It happens. It's like when a guy
Happens
gets...
a lot.
Nah, not as much as you think. It happens about... You know what happens about as much as? Is when a guy comes out of the penalty box and scores. How often does that happen?
No, way more often than that.
You think so?
Yeah.
Let's go look that up.
Yeah.
You're our analytics, cap friendly.
I don't even know if you could find that information, but...
What? In this year analytics, I thought you could tell when a guy wouldn't take a piss. Come on.
Yeah, but okay,
They gotta have
teams
some number
the
for
teams
that.
are going to have that, but...
They got shot at... Oh, yeah,
Okay,
we
can
don't talk about shot attempts anymore.
Can I speak? Like,
Sure.
The teams might have this information, but I don't know if it's going to be made public. I don't know if this is something you can find on NHL Edge, for example.
I'm going searching. I got time. I'm going to go search it because my favorite stat now after plus minus is offensive zone time. That's my favorite. I don't care what you tell me. Shots on goal and offensive zone time, not shot attempts, will tell me a better understanding of what's going on in the game. Personally.
Above offensive zone time, if you're not shooting the puck, though, it's useless.
Well, no, I mean, because you're trying to be of a stoico like all the teams. Let's not give up the puck. Let's get a good shot on goal. Notice more guys are firing the puck, though, lately?
Yes and no.
A little bit. You know what I noticed is in the tight games.
We're still on basketball, though, by the way. So.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
We got mentioned the Raptors extended Kelly Olynyk 2 years, $26.25 million deal. Love this signing.
I do, too. And not only that, I think that he's going to be a coach someday. I think it's more because of his basketball. His basketball intellect is pretty good. Is that a picture of J.J. Redick?
No.
I just seen on your phone?
Matthew Stafford was on there.
I love Matthew Stafford. But no, anyways, we're talking about basketball here before we go away. I hate J.J. Redick. I'm getting to really hate that guy. You know why? Him and I'd fight forever. It's the thing that sometimes you and I do.
Wow, so you hate me?
No, I'm not hating you. I'm just saying that sometimes you bring up some very pertinent numbers that will make you, we'll talk about the evolution of the game, and that's how we got here. And that's cool. But you don't forget about the past as much as he does. Like, he sometimes acts like basketball started in 2000. That's what drives me absolutely crazy. And he'll fight to the death about some of these things, so I won't want to bring it up. But
anyways,
that's what we're talking about, guys. Like, he was the ones I'll say that the Brunson guy, that Brunson will be on the, if you beat him down too much, he'll have no legs for the playoffs. You know what I mean? And here's another thing about, okay, we'll get to that in a minute. There's a little bit of gliding going on. My main thing is this, about, I'm hoping what happens in the next month of basketball. I meant to bring this up in my notes. If the teams that are most pertinent to winning the game and going to the finals, can we talk about them instead of the what if kind of sort of maybe should have? Because all we ever hear about is how are we going to advance the leagues with the Shays, the Ant-Mans, the Wimbanyanas, when all we want to talk about is LeBron and Curry. You know what I mean? Like, those guys are struggling to make the playoffs. They're down in the league. One day, they're not going to even be in the goddamn league. So how we're going to get the league forward is, like, you get on a show, and I'm not going to mention which shows, but it'll be like, who has a better chance of advancing, Golden State or LA Lakers? Who has a better lineup going into the playoffs, Golden State or the LA Lakers? Right. Why don't you talk about Minnesota Timberwolves? Why don't you talk? And they don't even talk about Denver as much. Denver's just risen up to get there.
That's why I don't watch these shows. It's all fluff.
Oh, okay. I watch some of these shows because what I want to do is I want to get the insights from the guys that come in. Like I'll listen to Shannon Sharp any day of the week.
Right.
Because he has no filter. Okay, some of the other guys have gatekeepers. I get what you're saying, and then you got to have the stuff that fans are going to want to talk about. That's why if you're in the middle of the Mojave Desert, somebody's going to say Dallas Cowboy. You know what I mean? Kind of deal like that. But I'm saying as a league, shouldn't you bring up the teams that are most pertinent to the moment?
I agree.
And that's what drives me crazy. I want to hear, you know why Shea can't get more votes for MVP? Because they don't talk about him enough because he's on OKC. You know, what if he was playing for LA?
I would hope that the writers who are voting on this look at the numbers.
Oh, yeah, I do. The serious guys got to have to.
that.
But I'm saying, like, the average exposure, so to speak, I think we should get more, like, on a Saturday night. The Saturday night seems to be the big NBA game night, okay? So why can't an NBA game night be Minnesota and OKC? Are you scared of the ratings? Is that the deal?
100% they would be.
Okay, but if you
Small markets.
But if you got superstar players, when do you expose them to it? You wait to the playoffs and say, oh, this guy's amazing. Listen, 16 years ago, Golden State was nobody.
I understand that.
Okay, so then they came along and they got some great players. They started winning and they got them in the door. Now they're a marquee team. When does OKC become a marquee team? When they win a championship, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, they were a marquee team with Westbrook and Durant, but you want to move us on to our power rankings?
Yes, we will. But I'll tell you this much before we go. So what did Toronto ever get out of it and we won a championship?
Well, I mean, Kawhi didn't stick around. It might have been a different story if he did.
We should have got some. We never get marketing anyway. We won the championship.
That's fine. That's I don't care about how much we're marketing in the States. We get the attention here. That's what matters to me.
Interesting point. Here in Toronto, right? Oh, yeah.
Well,
we're still
across the nation.
Across the nation. Yeah, I'll give it that, even though this is a horrible spring for the Raptors.
Anyways.
Okay, let's get on to our thing. I'll let you go first this week.
Okay, number 5, I got the New Orleans Pelicans. I almost said the Hornets.
Whoa! Did you say number 5? The New Orleans Pelicans. Wow.
Number 4, the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Got you.
Number 3, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Okay.
Number 2, the Denver Nuggets. And number 1, the Boston Celtics.
God damn, we are awfully close. We are extremely close. As have you seen here, that right here, is that I'm going to make the decision
on the spot
on number 5 as we speak, okay? Number 5, team in the NBA, the Milwaukee Bucks.
I had them as my number 6.
I looked at New Orleans, too. I said, no, we better start giving them some respect. Good call. Okay, I'll take Milwaukee. You take
New Orleans.
Number 4, Minnesota. Number 3, OKC. Number 2, the Celtics.
Okay.
Number 1, the Denver.
I went back and forth number 1, too.
You know why? It's a 9-1 record, and they beat everybody that showed up in front of them, like Boston, like LA, like everybody that came to the table in their house. They said, get out of here. Like in the last, look who they beat in the last 9-1, Clippers. Mm-hmm. They beat everybody on the 9-1, and that's why I say them. And my newfound love affair for the Joker.
The Joker.
In there. Anyways, we're going to keep a closer eye. It's going to get more intense in the next couple weeks in the NBA. But we should go now to our number 1, Toronto-centric. Here we are. How are your Leafs, bro?
Looking pretty good.
Think?
Yeah. I mean, some of the injuries I'm a little concerned about, like especially Yarncroke. Week to week again? That sucks. Marner, that one, they're saying it's a mild sprain, so he should be back in a couple weeks.
I thought he got tripped on the play, but he really didn't. I think it's more bad ice, right?
Hard to say. It was a weird play.
Oh, it was very weird. You know
I think it was one of those things, too, where he finished the game and then probably like, because the skate acts is a cast, right? And then right what came off probably fucking
boom,
ballooned. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing,
But before we get to that, got to shout out Doug Armstrong and Ryan Getzlaff are going to be leading Team Canada for the Four Nations face-off next year and the Olympics in 2026.
As you said before the show, and I think it's amazing, it's the continuity and the consistency that make great teams.
Yes, because Armstrong, I believe they put him in charge like the last couple Olympics. I don't know if he actually chose because the NHL players didn't go, but he was always kind of like next in the succession.
Consultant, yeah.
Yeah, because he was working with Eiserman in like the 2 before, right?
Yes.
It's important to have that continuity.
How old's Armstrong now? It's got to be my age, right?
I have no idea.
I wonder. No, it doesn't matter. He's a good hockey man. But you know what I really liked about it? They brought along Getzlaff, who's only been out of the league, what?
A couple of years.
So he's very close to what's going on. You want to have that now and then kind of put together and see what we got? What I love about it is these guys that get into the Four Nations Cup next year will be trying to already earn their spot for 26.
Of course.
But the bottom line is we can't say who's going to play there because there's like, you know what that always comes up to me, that the one example is, and I say it's so cool, and I think we did bring it up before. Let's say we're back before Salt Lake City or whenever it was at Olympics when Doughty showed up. When Doughty showed up.
Oh, Vancouver.
Yeah, when Doughty showed up. 2 years before Vancouver, did we even know who Doughty was? I still think he was a London Knight.
Drafted.
Was that year he drafted? Yeah. So it was his second year? He's very young.
He was on the junior team. He already had a gold medal.
Oh, yeah. No. We knew he was going to be a good player, but at this point in time, would they be talking about Doughty being on that team? I'm not sure. Then by the time that 2 year span moved in.
Well, year and a half, really, but
year and a half, yeah. So I think there's going to be a couple guys in the next couple of years that we don't know that are going to make that team.
So you're saying my projections from a few weeks ago are garbage?
No, I'm saying that I was looking at your list and I'm saying that your projections for next year's team are probably 90% correct. I want to know how many team players on that team make it 26. That's my question.
Interesting. Okay.
That's what I'm getting at. Oh, I think your list for next year for Canada gets more solid every day.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No, I do. Look around. The only thing is goaltending. I'll question your goaltending, but everything
I'll stick with those three that I chose. I'll stand by those.
Okay, well, we'll see. But I mean, like your lineup looks like it's going to be that way. Look around the league. What's going to change about it? Couple scorers here, couple scorers there. You had Sam Reinhart on the team, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So looking around, I think your team's pretty solid. But that's not the solid team we're talking about. We're talking about the team that's the most important to the GTA, and that's the Toronto Maple Leafs.
That game on Saturday night, the worst of the season, looked like both teams were just skating in mud.
Okay.
Game against Philly much better though.
What's that?
The game against Philly
they look like they had more energy. Okay, so
the bug is cleared.
Okay, that's what I've heard too. It's like people have actually brought it up. They're saying that we don't want to give Toronto any excuses, but they had a big flu in the dressing room.
But okay, like I think
everyone was feeling bad.
I think the worst than that is just the people completely denying it. Like obviously, like guys like are skating like 20% slower than they normally do. Like something's up.
Okay, yeah,
it's a team-wide issue.
I will agree. I don't know what went on in that game except for the fact that I think the most exciting part about it was the crowd
in Montreal.
Yeah. Good crowd. All the Toronto people up there. Everybody went to create a little mayhem, which was created. I thought that the quality of the game improved in the third period when we realized you had a chance to win because the score was low. And the reason the score was low is because there didn't seem to be the amount of effort you needed to score goals. Is that how you look at it? So I wouldn't.
Low energy game.
Okay, so those what is that? One of those scheduled things, along with having a flu. You know, it affecting your team, whatever the case may be. I'll look at it that way. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But right now, as the Toronto Maple Leafs go, I think that I want to really bring up this point, and I'm not a Leaf fan. I was very critical last year at this time for the Toronto Maple Leafs making too many changes to their team, and I thought that that's not the way to go because it's going to affect your chemistry and all that stuff going into the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. And guess what happened? They won one round and got their ass kicked. Okay? So I'm saying you got to come home from the dance with the girl that you went with. I think the Leafs are much smarter this year. I think that what they added is those two big defensemen, which you admirably called, Mr. Milani. What are we going to do? We got cap problems. We don't want to give up our prospects. Let's keep our number one. Let's go out and find two big
defensemen and a depth forward.
And then that's what they did. Now, what I'm saying is since then is I'm not really too worried about the Boston games. I'm going to worry about the last 15 games and look at the schedule and see who they're playing because I think they have to define their positions then, not a week before the playoffs. And one of the don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree with that. But I mean, Keefe back to his old ways, just putting the line through a blender every game. A different lineup completely for tonight, by the way, against Carolina.
Really?
Yes.
I've seen the lineup against Philadelphia, and I heard you screaming from wherever you were. I looked at the lineup and I go, "You must be happy. What's this one?"
That one I didn't mind because like Matthews Yarncroke has been a pair before. Putting Bertuzzi there, I mean, I questioned it, but I mean it worked.
It worked, yeah.
But now tonight's
they tried it earlier, remember?
In the beginning of the season. Yeah. But I mean, Bertuzzi just wasn't getting anything done early on. But he's found his footing though. Good for him. But with Matthews tonight is going to be Bertuzzi and Pontus Holmberg. Second line is going to be Domi, Nylander, McMahon. This looks to be a mistake, but I imagine third line is going to be Tavares, Nyes, Robertson.
I like that line already.
And then fourth line, Kampf, Dewar, and Gregor, which is interesting. I don't think I wouldn't be putting Gregor out there. I'd honestly think I'd put Ryan Reeves in the lineup, but
who are they playing again?
Carolina.
Ooh, maybe for the toughness.
I know Gregor. He had a good start to the season, but then You're starting to look at the fourth line. The common denominator is Noah Gregor's ugly plus minus.
I thought you didn't like plus minus. What's that? You bringing that up?
In context, I said it's a good stat.
Okay, it is, and his is brutal. But I'm going to predict tonight the best line on that team: Nyes, Tavares, and Robertson. Because Robertson needs to show his thing. Like I think he's the most disrespected guy on the Leafs. Like, why don't they play? Every time I'm out there, I notice the guy. I don't always notice Jamrock.
No, Yarncroke is great.
Great for what?
Penalty kill. He's good.
Give him on the penalty kill, but they never gave Robertson a chance on the penalty kill. I'd like to see what kind of penalty killer he is, the way that he skates. I think it's a question of you saying that the coach just doesn't like the guy.
I don't think when's he ever played penalty kill, though, even in the minors? I don't know.
He's a type of skater player that would be good on the penalty killer to me. He's one of those water bugs. He gets around. You know what I mean? He's like, I don't know why you benched him. I don't know why. I think you should give him a chance.
Well, McMahon took his spot.
Sometimes I think he played as good as Nyes some nights. Nyes should have went and sat down, but you can't do that now because he's a big kid and you can't break his confidence. But
you need Nyes in the lineup.
You do, just for his size. No, I wouldn't. I'm just being a little bit facetious. But I think at times I thought Robertson played just as good as Nyes, and I don't think he's got nothing for it. And sometimes he's been the guy that's played with the bricklayers. So
Who?
Robertson.
No, never. He's never played on the fourth line.
Who did he play in the third line with? Who was his center?
Domi, yeah.
That was a good line for a while, but it never got to do as much as it did because of injuries. It got all switched around.
But Domi on the second line with Nylander, I like.
Oh, I do too.
The Leafs defense tonight is going to be Brody McCabe, Riley, Connor Timmins, and Edmondson Liljegren.
Say that again.
Brody McCabe.
Okay, you got to leave that. Brody McCabe, you got to ride that the rest of the year.
I like Brody Liljegren though together. Although it looks like they're going to do Edmondson Liljegren. They've been pretty good together too. And then Riley Timmins, I guess because Lyubushkin's still out.
Yeah. Riley's going to play with Timmins?
Although I'm surprised, like, where's
Timmins come on? That's my two guys.
I guess Timmins.
My two guys that I don't understand, Robertson and Benoit. Benoit's giving you guys great ice time. You're killing his confidence. Don't you want him in the lineup?
We picked up the guys at the deadline, though. You got to give them a look. That's the thing, right?
I'm going to give them a look. So maybe.
Well, then you got to bench him.
That's not for long.
And then Timmins, he's been out for Timmins. I can understand.
He's
been out for so long. You want to give him a game when he comes back from his injury. I get that one.
The main reason
Benoit's got to get a game here soon, though.
Oh, you're damn right it is. Like all that time that he stood up for you guys, and now you're putting him on the bench because you're checking out other guys. That wrecks guys' confidence. That's what I'm talking about last year. You get a funny feeling in the dressing room when you got a guy that's playing that hard for you. And then all of a sudden you go, go sit over there.
Yeah, but I think he knew his role as like a third pair guy anyways, though.
He's playing good hockey. You even admitted yourself you enjoyed him in the lineup. Let's get him back. Okay, so the night of the playoffs, right? No, we got 18 games for everyone to prove themselves. That's what I'm saying. The Leafs defense will be defined.
He wouldn't be in my top six. He wouldn't be.
Starting the playoffs.
He'd be my number 7.
Okay, so who your 6 would be right now?
Brody McCabe, Riley, Lyubushkin, Edmondson, Liljegren.
We'll see. I don't think that the problem's going to be like Edmondson and Lyubushkin, even though Lyubushkin's going to play with Riley, right?
Yeah.
That's the type of guy. I get that. But Edmondson, I don't think he has the mobility of a Benoit. And just because he's bigger, is he going to hit a little more?
Yeah, but he's a third pair guy. So, I mean, he's not going to be asked to play against the other team's top 6 too often.
No, but I'd rather
He's got the length.
That's I'll give him that, and he's tougher.
That's the tiebreaker between him and Benoit.
The length?
Yeah.
But I like Benoit skaters better. I like him as better as a skater, moving the puck, headmanning the puck. Which
I don't think Edmondson's a bad skater, though. I'm not for a third pair guy.
I seen him play, but he won a Stanley Cup, didn't he?
With St. Louis?
I believe so, didn't he?
As a third pair guy.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Well, maybe this is his calling. Stanley Cup winner, Toronto Maple Leafs on the third pair. You know what I'm saying, though? Don't you think Benoit should get a better look? I think he's getting the bad end of the stick. He's played good hockey for you guys. His plus minus is fine, and he's not afraid to. He shows a little offensive flair.
Okay, but yeah, the next injury, he's going to be the next man up, though.
Okay.
So
I don't necessarily agree with that. I'm saying
you got to field your best lineup.
Okay, so I'm going to say this one more time, and you're going to scream, and you're going to kick me off the show and say, "Cruz, you're stupid. Get out of here." Sandin got a contract in Washington.
He did.
He got a contract, and at one point last year, your best thing was Liljegren and Sandin, wasn't it?
They were a third pair. They were playing against other teams' third lines.
No. They played well, and you know it.
Against other teams' third lines.
When Riley got hurt, remember Riley got hurt? It was the best pair you guys had.
Yeah, it was the best third pair in the league.
Oh, stop it. You know they played well. Okay, then so look at
Against the other team's third and fourth lines.
I don't think you let them get to blossom. I think you wrecked their confidence is what you did, and then you shipped Sandin out of town. And Sandin got paid.
I would ship Sandin out of town again.
He's playing on a team that's pretty rough, but he got paid. He did something right.
Good for him.
Okay.
Good for him. He can get paid somewhere other than Toronto.
Okay, I'll let you get away with that. But those are your 6 defensemen to start, eh?
Yeah.
I'm arguing for Benoit.
And I would take all 6 of them over Sandin.
Okay, would you? All right. Okay, we'll see.
Actually, I would take, including Benoit and Giordano, I would take over Sandin.
So Giordano's done for the year, right?
Is he actually?
I don't know. I'm asking you that. He's in the mix.
He is listed, he's just on IR. I don't know.
Okay, so now once the playoffs start, we don't care. We don't care, okay? So the question this weekend is hockey is, who used the, what do you call it, the LTIR? LTIR. Who's used it best, in your opinion?
Well, Vegas.
Toronto's done good.
Yeah, but I mean, they were kind of like pressed a little bit because of the Klingberg situation.
Okay.
They never had that much cap
You're a
space.
good lawyer. You're a good lawyer. You dance around with the Leafs pretty good.
A lot.
Okay. Well, no, but I get what you're saying. But going to cap friendly a lot is not a bad thing, by the way. My point is this. What was I just saying now? I'm losing my train of thought.
You were talking about LTIR.
The template was set by Tampa Bay. Okay? So my question is this.
Really Chicago, because remember they did that with Patrick Kane.
Oh, yes, Chicago. Yeah. Okay, that was the but you know what? Did you see McCrimmon this week? I think he was on overdrive. This is why I watched one of the shows. The general manager, he's general manager of Vegas, right on? So he got to be on the air, and these guys got to fire questions at him, like straight up. First thing he said was, very subtly, well, Toronto has used this effectively over the years, okay, which you have. But you got to remember the element for which you use it on is fair. You get a guy that gets knocked out with a serious injury. Come on, man. You got to bring somebody back in, right?
Do you want to hear my take? I don't have a problem with the way Vegas is doing it.
You got away with murder, but that's.
I don't care. I think that's. God bless you. Okay. Find all the loopholes you can.
Okay.
Fuck this stupid salary cap.
Okay, then I was going there with this. As long as you agree, I will say that was where I'm going to. At any given time where you get in a point in the season where you can bend something to your good, like Mark Stone is playing the first night of playoffs.
100%.
There's no doubt.
100%.
You know what I mean? We know that, which is cool, but then that's the rule is there. But let's look at the law of the land, or the what is it? The word, whatever that expression is about the law. If you do get a guy that's hurt, you got to replace him in the lineup. That's not money anymore. That's the structure of your team due to something beyond your control. So therefore, you should be allowed to get it in. If it gets to be manipulated by some people who are crafty, that makes sense.
So be it.
That's like stealing signs in baseball. If you're better than everybody else at it, then keep on doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that being said, if people want to change the rules so it's less easy to exploit, I'd be open to that as well.
Okay, so the number one question is, how do you do that? There's no way to close this loophole. I've heard that this week, which is another reason about hearing that debate on shows about, okay, how do you close it? Let's hear the Andrew Milani mode. This is a Milani mode. What would you do this should be good.
So I would have a formula. So let's say you missed the last 5 games of the regular season. You got to miss game 1 of the playoffs. It's maybe you missed the last 10, you missed the first 2 or something. Something around that. I'm not saying those numbers are set in stone, but that's the way I think I would look at solving it.
And you're saying they're cheating. You're calling them out.
Well, hey, maybe
you just said let them have the loophole. They use the loophole. Now you're going to punish them for using the loophole because you're going to say, Mark Stone, you can't play in game 2.
No, I'm just taking away the loophole.
Is that how you take it away for the one game?
Yeah. How would you do it?
I have no idea.
Because you can't have it
That's the problem.
I wouldn't want to have it where guys rush back to the end of the regular season, because there you just risk if the guy is legitimately injured.
Yes, got you. I don't want to do that either. And I'm liking.
Or
you're thinking, okay, go ahead.
Or maybe the one I've heard too that was pretty interesting was that your team has to be cap compliant in the playoffs, but just for the guys that are in your lineup that night. I think that's a pretty interesting one.
That's
not counting
hard.
healthy scratches.
Wow, that's interesting. That's not going to fly. Not for a minute. No NHL.
I think that one has a better chance of flying than my first one about the formula there.
No, I think it's a more concrete way of killing the loophole. Every team in the league's not going to get it because then you have killed their loophole.
But you got to be cap compliant for 20 guys in the lineup. That doesn't sound that hard. Considering you do in the regular season with 23 guys, 23 plus after the deadline.
Okay, so what they're going to tell you I'm going to be devil's advocate. Here's what they're going to tell you. We got to play for injuries. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. We got to have all these guys around just in case for injuries. So
it's like that in the regular season too, but you got to be cap compliant.
Yeah, but there's going to be more guys sitting around the press box than there is during the regular season. You know that because they're not going to be down at the Marlies. They're going to be sitting around practicing every day.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The guys in the press box don't count towards just cap compliant guys in the lineup. You're 20 guys dressed. Guys in the press box don't count.
Okay. I'm not. I think that's a very, very, very interesting point. But okay, Milani's worth $20 million. Cruz is worth $2 million. Cruz is killing it. We're going to sit Milani and bring in Cruz so we can bring in this other guy to put beside him because
that's not going to happen though.
Okay.
Because like NHL guys, they're high paid guys. Like they're going to be in the lineup if they're healthy.
I think you got I don't have no idea, and I've heard
no one's scratching a $10 million player just to get around to being cap compliant.
Okay.
You'd have to be insane.
Okay,
you're obviously not in the playoffs to win. So.
Oh no, I'd say you would be in there, but if one guy's playing better than the other, I say you play with the best guys in the moment that are going to get you there. And if the $2 million guy's playing better, I'd put him in. But that rarely happens. You're correct. Yeah. But I'm saying, of all the talk that I've heard this week on a number of shows, including my beloved NHL network, which is not a very good network, by the way, but I've never heard.
If they were good, they'd be up here in Canada.
Thank you very much. Well, we've got so much hockey here, blows them out of the water. They can't compete with anything that we put on the air here. That's another story. But the bottom line is, I haven't heard anybody, the two things that you brought up, honestly, not blowing smoke up your skirt or anything, but they're two of the most feasible things I've heard all week on that because it's a very valid effort because they're saying Las Vegas got away with shit because of the cap deadline, at the trade deadline. They didn't get away with nothing. They didn't get away with nothing.
Other people are just upset that their team didn't figure that out.
They didn't think about it first, so that means McCrimmon and McPhee are smarter freaking executives than you are. That's not what boils down to.
They're very smart hockey.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean that like they took advantage of the situation. Like I still don't know how they swung that hurdle trade. They got 2 third-round picks. Like I don't know how.
What did something went on in the back door? There's something in that deal that because look at you took this
just taking advantage of Mike Greer, a young GM, right?
Well, perhaps maybe he says
Welcome
I'm going
to
to get no, because I've heard this rumor that sometimes you got to do a favor now, someone's got to do a favor for you down the road.
I don't buy that.
No,
guys, you're going to be looking for
Ruthless
life
forever?
vest. Guys are going to be throwing you anchors. That's the league.
Oh no, I know that, but at times you sometimes have to.
Like what you think?
Honor amongst thieves.
What do you think? Mike Greer's going to call up Kelly McCrimmon and be like,
No.
Remember that favor I did for you?
Not
but
I'm going to say this: could you take $15 million of this cap hit when you're having some at this deadline now because you guys aren't in the same shape as me? Give me a $15 million break. This got nothing to do with players. I think it's got all to do with the money and how they shifted on the paper. You're Mr. Cap Friendly. You should say that. So I'm saying the favor comes in and not in a player. I think the favor comes in with one of these weirds. Suddenly San Jose's keeping this much of the money because that's the part that I'm saying that they could possibly do that.
Man,
I'm not going to say players.
I'm not buying that. I'm not buying
saying
that.
Players.
I just think a young GM
do this. You think
I think
he just got fleeced?
Yeah, because Hurdle wanted out too. I think.
Well, that's he was worried about the rebuild, and he's older. Hurdle's around 30 now, right?
Yeah, they're about.
Yeah, in around 30.
A little younger, but yeah.
Okay, so he signed the bag with them earlier thinking they were going someplace, and they didn't.
The wheels fell off.
Right off. Okay, so now he's going, hey, I came here with the intent. Okay, so now you're not doing what I came here for. I got to go. I get it. So, but he didn't say that because he.
I think San Jose just might have panicked.
That too.
Because even if you look, Vegas gave him a first-round pick. They're getting a third-rounder from San Jose. That's only going to be like, what, a 30-pick difference, basically? It's a low first going to a high third. Yeah. That's like a 30-something, 35, let's say. Maybe a little bit more, 40. That's being liberal.
That's big, but it's not.
It's not that big.
Yeah, but it's
considering like they say after the top 20, the draft usually falls off, right?
Well, I always say it's in who's the best organization who's got the best scouting system. It turns out after that.
Yeah, but scouts will tell you after like the first like.
Oh no,
there's a cutoff point. Usually, it's usually 20.
Around 20. Yeah.
After that, it's like reaching into a bag.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of guesswork.
Well, the best teams seem to be able to do it. Like, and I hate to bring them up. Boston Bruins, Exhibit A.
Sure.
You know, it's your scouting system. Okay, Chicago was there for a while till Cap.
Yeah, but like everyone. Well, although Boston had that one draft where they had those 3 picks in a row in the first round, two of them became busts.
They butchered.
And then
that
the third
rare.
one was just kind of like, Zobril or whatever.
But then their second and third round picks were so much better. That's what you're talking about, reaching into the bag. That's what makes that interesting.
Yeah, but scouting is a lot of like maybe not guesswork, but estimation.
Okay.
And projection. It's a tough job.
I agree, but there's some guys out there like I'm saying. Okay, I'm not a scout. So, but here's how you're successful. Say the Toronto Blue Jays make a mad move between now and opening day. Cruz, you were pretty good. How did you know that? I don't know that. I'm feeling that. That's what scouts do. Scouts come in and say, I'm that guy. The greatest example of all time was with Rocket Richard, and his nephew started scouting with the Montreal Canadiens. And they said, take this Mike Bossy guy. Take this Mike Bossy guy. He's small. He's not that. Look at him shoot. Take Mike Bossy. Did Montreal take Mike Bossy?
No, they did not. The Islanders did.
The Islanders
and
did.
he's a Montreal boy, too.
And they didn't take him. Exhibit A. Rocket Richard didn't come to the game for like 10 games in protest. You know, Rocket was in the game, always sitting at his seat. Him, John Bellevue, on the other seats. Rocket didn't show up. Anyways.
Damn.
That's what I'm saying about the scouts. When you got to know that. You got to help your scouting system. And Vegas seems to have a good scouting system because they're not afraid to make all these moves.
They do.
You know, so they got to have a pretty good scouting system.
Mind you, they haven't taken advantage of a lot of their draft picks.
And they've moved stuff around. Yeah, but they've moved them to an advantage where they're always, look, they've made the finals and now they've won a cup. So all these manipulations, you say, what are you doing with that? That you never gave the guy a chance. Yeah, but I got a ring.
Yep.
So you can't knock whatever they're doing whatever they're doing in Vegas.
Sure.
Like people are starting to copy it. Just like the people are starting to copy what San Francisco is doing in football, and people are starting to look at the Tampa Bay model a little bit more. You know what I mean? Because they all are perennial in that position. So what is it all boiled
Although
down
Tampa
to?
Bay,
that's a different situation. But I'm talking about the Rays more than anything else.
Fair enough.
In a different sport because their scouting system seems to have produced over the last 10 years more than the other crews. I think Montreal's is getting better because we keep tabs on the Habs. Montreal's has gotten better. Toronto's obviously been relatively decent when you think about it.
After Mark Hunter left town, our scouting department got extremely better.
Which is weird because Mark Hunter was a guy from the
OHL.
Maybe he was an OHL guy. He couldn't make the jump from making it because the London
and
Knights.
What makes you a good junior player compared to a good NHL player? Completely different, right?
Oh yeah.
Like NHL, there's gonna be a lot less time and space.
You got it. Okay.
And maybe there's a little bit of London arrogance there. I don't know.
Oh, agreed. Well, there's always going to be London arrogance. I'm going to wait till the Hunters disappear.
I'm getting flashbacks to last offseason when Leafs Reddit was saying that they should hire Mark Hunter as the GM, and I'm screaming, no, please.
Anyways, with all the stuff that's going on about scouting really quick,
you can finish.
You can't be correct. Like, we didn't take Shane Wright. Exhibit A. I'm so glad we didn't take him. All right, you know what I mean? And
although you could add Logan Cooley, who could be number one center.
Okay, I know that too. But I'm gonna look at it this way: you'll be buying me a beer when Josh Slavlaski scores 25 before Nice.
We'll see. Could come down to next. Could even
next
be the season after that. Well, who knows, right?
No, he's scoring 25 next year. You heard it right now.
Injuries happen.
Stop it. Leave my guy alone. Yes, I didn't say nothing about injuries and Nice. Stop it. I was trying to be nice.
That goes both ways, sir.
But I didn't say that either. You're jinxing my guy already because you know.
Jinxing your guy. I'm not even a Habs fan. How can I jinx him?
Did you see him make a couple passes the other night? You know why Suzuki's getting more goals? Because Slavkovsky's doing all the work.
The dirty work, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing it all. He's great. He's suddenly, it's so cool about him. Like, you know that guy with the deer in the headlights?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I can do this. He's that guy. Like, it's amazing to watch him. Like, he's nothing like a year ago. It's not even the same presence.
Interesting.
No, really. When you see him, he made a pass the other night.
He's very good.
Yeah.
Even my mom commented on that watching the game the other night.
Yeah. Oh, he's taken that step up. He's not going to be a bust.
No.
Let's put it that way.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Bobby McMahon signed a 2-year extension with the Leafs. 2 years, 1.35 per. That could be a big steal over the next 2 seasons.
And not only that,
that's going to take him right to unrestricted, I believe.
Yes, and you know what? He earned that contract.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't forget he earned that contract. You know what I mean? Which is bodes well for you because you guys got those 3 kids that are coming up that are playing really good in juniors and for the Marlies. Like Mitten and who's the other guys?
Oh, Minton, Easton Cowan, who's like just tearing it up in the OHL right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And he was the guy that everyone was pissed off that we took in the first round. Now all of a sudden, Leafs are looking pretty smart for taking him.
Yes, very much so. But I
could captain the junior team next year. That's my hot take.
Oh yeah, interesting. You know, yeah, I never thought about that
because I don't think he's going to be quite ready for the NHL yet next year.
And they'll give him that experience. Along the way. Yeah, that's also, and it gets back to our original point. See, the Leafs have obviously done some good scouting in the last bunch of years.
Absolutely.
They maintain where they're going. Yeah, I thought that was great for when you know his backstory and he's getting here and he's getting paid. God bless him. All those guys.
Yep.
And on the third line.
There you go. Scoring depth, the new Leaf strength. We'll take this to one thing that's been a hot topic here at the House That Happens. Player safety, and now Matt Rempe had that chicken wing to the head of the, I'm blanking on the Devils player it was on. Ended up getting a 4-game suspension.
Okay. I've been thinking about this all week because you know what I'm saying about fighting. I'm the guy that always says, fighting ain't going to leave. We need fighting. But now I'm going, how did we get to this point in fighting? How did it get, like, it's the talk everywhere you go. It's all over the league. Fighting's back, but
the Yanks have really ran with it. Then in Canada, it's kind of died down lately. It was kind of like one bump.
I think some of the smartest guys that I've ever heard talk about hockey are going, come on, people. Let's not go back to 1978. Let's not go back to 1986. Like I've heard that said, which is okay, but drop your gloves when we have a situation going on good. But if your guy gets hit with a clean shot, you don't jump the guy. That's hockey. See, back in the day, they wouldn't do it so much.
But the Rempe hit wasn't a clean shot. That was an elbow to the head.
That was just a stupid thing on his part. But I'm glad he didn't fight because all he would have done was advocate the fact that he didn't want to be that stupid, which he maybe is. But he'll be back in 4 games. My question is, it gets back to my original argument about consistency and delivering the punishment for when you do something stupid.
Now, I will actually defend player safety here.
Okay.
Because it's first-time offender.
Yep.
This is a 4-game, basically saying, like, chill.
Yep. Okay, I got it.
I'm actually fine with the suspension the more I think about it.
Okay, but then Riley got 5. I think it's more malicious. Yeah, more malicious. Okay. But you were right. Because
Gallagher has been suspended before, correct?
No.
That was his first suspension?
I think so, yeah. Maybe 1. I don't know.
I think he has been suspended before.
Okay, so we'll give him the 5. So what about, I thought he'd get the Prospiel more. I thought he'd get that kind of thing because neither one of them were as vicious as Riley's or the appearance of viciousness of Gallagher's.
Mm-hmm. Well, Gallagher and Rempe had put them about the same.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it was a chicken wing to the head.
Yeah, and it was a last-second thing. If they kept their shoulder down, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And the reason that Riley looked so bad is because he was just pissed and he went over the top, which we will defend. But the Prospiel one, they were also saying now when they keep showing it, that guy should have been a better skater again. Okay, like when he kind of went down, he hit him on an off-balancing, so worse than it was. But when I see the way that Prospiel was going into the boards, I'm saying that he had intent. His movement looked like intent. So if that guy was off balance, it doesn't matter. You had bad intentions. So how come he only got 3? Because of his reputation?
I mean, intent. I don't really care about intent. It's like you either did it or you didn't. That's the way I view it.
Yes.
Be in control of your body.
Okay, but then the guy get hit. If he's not in control of his body, what happens? You look bad.
Well, you gotta be careful.
Okay, so then the players have forgotten to protect themselves. The rules are to protect you.
Sure.
But sometimes the players got to learn to protect themselves. They got to turn around. They see the guys coming, get ready or something. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that guys should be running guys through the side of the world like they've been doing lately. I mean, I don't want that either because then you're completely disavowing anything on a player safety level. However, we've got the 3-game suspension, 4-game suspension, 5-game suspension. My theory is this. The New York guy got nothing. Another guy got a fine. So when we add it up for the season, let's keep receipts and all this stuff. So when we start by the end of the year or in the playoffs, let's keep receipts now because, some shit's going to go on in the playoffs.
Oh, there's going to be some suspensions going down. Someone's going to get like a big one in the first round.
Okay, but then what are they going to base it on? They better base it on the credentials that we're talking about right now or the whole league's a fraud, which it may be.
Speaking of suspensions, John Tortorella got suspended 2 games for refusing to leave the bench after getting kicked out.
My boy. You can't do that, Torts.
No.
You can't do it. I know why.
I'm not leaving. No, sorry, Torts, you got to leave.
But
even though the tossing you out might not have been completely justified.
Oh, 100%. Did you hear a couple guys? Someone was on a show this week. He was on the bench. When he realized Torts is getting tossed, he went, "What? What's he getting tossed for?" Like, he's a player on the Philly bench. He goes, "I seen Torts do worse." But do the math now. It's a problem in the NBA. It's a problem in the NHL. What has happened right now? It's called the movement of your officiating. Some old guys are going out. Some new guys are coming in. Same thing in the NHL. If you check that guy, he's very inexperienced referee. Very inexperienced. He panicked. In my opinion, he panicked. Buddy, you're going to hear worse than that the rest of your career. Okay? They're going to come along. They're going to do some shit now. Was Torts wrong? The rule said this is what you do. You deal with it later. Torts was wrong.
There was a memo. I keep going back to this. The memo put out at the beginning of the year for telling coaches to chill with the refs.
Chill your ass out. Yeah, and he did not chill his ass out. It was funny, though, don't you think?
It was funny.
I rewound it.
The players up in the box from the 04 team were dying, too.
Oh, my God. It was hilarious. Oh, yeah. It was just unbelievable. You know what I mean? But, hey, got to love Torts. That's why Philadelphia is there. His passion for the game, his belief in the way you play hockey. Were you expecting Philadelphia to be in the playoffs?
Coming into the year, absolutely not.
There you go. So give it to, and they're still not in yet. They're having a little trouble along with Detroit.
The Islanders, I guess, still could pass them for that number 3 seed, but I think the Flyers will make it in.
I think the Flyers will be in too. I'm more scared of my beloved Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah, but before we get that, I want to finish up with the Torts thing. So the owner's saying they were going to cover the cost of the fine. I think that might have gotten Torts suspended. Otherwise, it might have just been a fine.
Interesting. The owner said that, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, they come out and said it. Yeah, because you know what? I think he's going to get a bonus at the end of the year anyway. I really think he's going to get a bonus. They're going to look down and say, good, because you know what? If he gives them two home
playoff gates,
there's bonus right there. You know what I mean? So he should be commended. And like we say, Torts is Torts. He's got a rep. We know what goes on. We had an amateur referee, not an amateur, but an inexperienced referee. Everything added up to nothing good coming out of this, and nothing good did.
This has raised the question, should referees take questions from the media after the game? I say the head referee.
Yeah, just one.
Yeah.
Now, I think
Would the refs go for that?
No.
There you go.
But I think what makes it weird is because they're going to probably go to something they do, which I think is good, bad, and ugly, and that's the NBA. At the end of every game, they give the 2-minute report.
Yes.
Sometimes that's good. Sometimes it's not so good. We screwed up. We did wrong. We blew the game. Now, if you're the guy on the other end of that, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
So that means that NHL guy's going to come up and sit down and goes, well, we had to do the makeup penalty. Wouldn't that drive you just nuts?
That's like, even I think LeBron spoke about the last 2-minute report. He's like, it's unfair to the guys.
Oh, no kidding. But I understand because everybody else has got to be accountable. And you don't have to be accountable.
Why? But like making that public though is a little weird though, don't you think?
I don't know. I think it's a false pretense that they're giving us some transparency. I think like they're giving us a bone.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I don't
because it doesn't change the results.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I'm wondering, do you believe this? And this is another take by Mr. Cruz on the House It Happens. 3 days before the playoffs, all the referees are in a conference call. And the NHL says, do you do this, this, and this? I'm not sure what this, and this is going to be, but we'll see it after every game. After the first, like those first 8 games in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Watch how they're reffed. And I'll bet you they're all reffed the same. Because that's how it always starts in the playoffs. That's when the playoffs start.
Unless Wes McCauley's reffing a Leaf game. We'll see.
Okay, then let's not go there. That's a bias we can't beat. And I think that they should keep him away.
But they won't.
And then just like the end.
I think he got like 3 games. No, 2. He was scheduled for Game 7. Didn't go to Game 7 against Tampa. But he was scheduled for 3 games. He got 2. And I think the Leafs lost both of them.
And it's like the guy that Chris Paul knows. There should be that guy. That guy should never be in the same game as Chris Paul because you just know that's bullshit. It's never going to work. It's going to be nonsense. So we'll go there.
Back to what you were saying about the Red Wings.
Oh, boo!
7 in a row they have lost, including to Arizona. A home game against Arizona.
What's wrong with the Red Wings? The minor injuries. There's a couple injuries.
Yeah, Dylan Larkin's out. That's a big one.
Oh yeah, that hurts. But I mean, the team play itself, especially in their own zone. You know what? I seen them play the other night when they give up a couple goals. It looked like panic hockey.
Right.
Like the same thing every other team does. They bitched about the Leafs. You know where the defenseman gets? He throws it around the net.
Yeah.
Oh,
a lot of that in Detroit.
Yeah, they did a few of those where he picked it up and threw it behind, and the guy wasn't there, but the guy on the other team was there.
Yeah.
One of those Arizona goals was a direct result of that.
Raymond and Sherrod had a fight in practice the other day. That caught a lot of attention.
I don't have a problem with that. That's just saying we got to get this shit straight. You know what I mean? Doughty didn't.
But like that followed by a loss against Arizona is a little bit of a.
Well,
you got to be concerned. I know my buddy Rob, who's going to be listening to this, is.
Well, you got to do
concerned.
the tighten up. It's a different way to do it. Doughty said it to the press. He could have fought somebody in practice. He is pissed. He could have said in practice and caused a fight. It's the way you handle it, I guess. But I have no problem with two guys because sometimes what you do is you get on the plane, you sit beside each other and go, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then again, you go out the next night and lose to Arizona. So if it is a problem, one of those guys will be on the bench soon. So just keep your eyes out. If one of those guys is a healthy scratch, it's a serious
I'm not saying
problem.
it's the problem with those two guys specifically, but I'm just saying there's a big problem brewing in Detroit. Yes.
I hope not. I love Stevie Y. I still, I got Detroit love all the time. Good luck, Greg. I just hope they hold on to the playoffs. But now, St. Patrick is starting to look like a saint.
Yes,
because here comes New York is coming down. Is this a race? They're on the outside coming down because there's two things I've noticed in sports. It took a few games to happen. Doc Rivers in Milwaukee and Patrick in the Islanders. First couple, 3-4 games, what difference did it make? Nothing. Now look at the Islanders. I'm still not saying they're going to make it.
It could be lining up to be an Islanders-Rangers first round.
Oh, I'm praying for that. That's what I'm hoping for.
Actually, Rangers-Islanders tomorrow, St. Patrick's Day at MSG. That's going to be crazy.
They'll be fighting.
Yes.
They'll be fighting.
In
fighting
and out of the crowd.
I was just going to say, fighting in the streets, fighting in the stands, fighting on the ice, which should be interesting. I'm going to check that game out.
Yeah. New Jersey, their big news this week was they will be going after a goaltender this offseason, having Jacob Markstrom and UC Saros circled at the top of their lists.
Good luck in getting either one of them, but I have
Markstrom would be a lot more
Calgary ain't going to give him up. I don't think Calgary will. That'd be a big step
Everyone
back.
has a price.
Then Calgary better pay it.
Or New Jersey, you mean?
No, Calgary, this would be a huge step back if they let him go. You're going to be looking for the guy. What's the hardest thing in the NHL right now? Goaltending. Okay, Calgary already gave up some pieces.
No, goaltenders you can always find up the scrap heap, though.
For a Stanley Cup run?
Well, Calgary's got a long way to go.
Who's your number one goalie?
We have two guys that we can rely on.
Okay, that's
arguably
all you want to
three.
know. Okay, there you go. That's what I'm just saying. I'm just not going to be as...
And we found one of those guys, two of them actually off the scrap heap.
Okay, you got a point there. But I'm just saying I don't think it. I think New Jersey is the most disappointing team in the NHL this year. Bar none.
Absolutely.
I don't care what any say about every other team. People have had injuries.
Ottawa and Buffalo, too.
Oh, yeah, but then you knew Buffalo. Anything could happen on Buffalo, and anything could happen. Ottawa's right
Everyone
up
had
there.
them in the playoffs, though.
Everyone had Ottawa and Buffalo ahead of Detroit. Everybody.
I don't know if I had Ottawa ahead of Detroit, but definitely had Buffalo.
Yeah, they all had them against
Either way, New Jersey has been extremely disappointing.
I thought New Jersey might be a top four, and I might be a compete.
I had them for the President's Trophy.
I know.
I think we all did.
No, yeah, I think we had them up there. I got to check my book, but we had them.
I still have it. I have it on my phone here.
Well, we had huge. I was screaming, Jersey. This is going to be their team, and what did they do?
No, you had the Leafs winning the President's Trophy, but you had New Jersey. We all had New Jersey winning the division.
Yeah, that's what I thought. They could win the division. Now they're not going to make the playoffs. Most disappointing team in hockey, bar none. Bar none.
We'll move us on to a bit of a sad and strange story. A truckload of Jaromir Jagr bobbleheads that were supposed to be given out on Thursday night, I believe it was, were stolen en route to Pennsylvania from California.
What are they going to do with a truckload of Jaromir Jagr freaking doll? I got one at home. I went and checked. I have a Jaromir Jagr doll at home somewhere.
Someone's going to sell them on like bootlegs online or something.
Where, the Africans? Who's going to wear that? You think they'll get it online? Someone's
North
going to
Americans.
have to know that. Okay, but who?
Or Czech Republic, maybe.
Oh, yeah, Czech guys will buy them. But who's, like, what are you going to do with a truckload? You know how many bobbleheads that is?
Probably like 10,000.
Because that's how many they're going to give out at a giveaway at a game. Yeah, 10,000.
Up to 20, I guess, if everyone gets one. I don't know what the numbers were, but
no, that's a reasonable guess on your part. But really realistic, what are you going to do with a truckload of Jaromir Jagr? I'd like a couple myself. I
would take one.
In a minute. Oh, we all love Jagr. Come on. Jagr won me money back in the day.
There we go.
He won me money. And it was in a playoff pool, which we got to discuss. The playoff pool. And in the pool, you had to draft guys. And it was Jagr's rookie year. I drafted him.
Wow.
I drafted him like in about the 8th round because he just started to bloom.
Yeah.
But in the playoffs, he took off. The first year in the Stanley Cup, look at his numbers. Like he was a surprise scorer of the playoffs, won the money, couple grand, get lucky. Love you, Yager. You still walking around with that case of money? Cash is king, baby.
Cash is king.
Cash is king.
Speaking of cash and being king, 2 interested ownership groups are vying for an Atlanta expansion team now in the NHL.
Stop it.
One of them led by Anson Carter, former player.
Stop it.
Or not led by it, but he's, the face of the ownership group.
Stop it.
And I read out the names associated with that before. There's some big money in there.
Yes, you have.
Neil Liebman, who is
the Simon crew,
who is a COO of the Texas Rangers. Peter Simon, CEO of Simon Sports.
That's the crew I've heard of.
And Aaron Ziegler, President and CEO of Ziegler Automotive Group, who's a big player in NASCAR.
Wow. I don't agree. Chocolate cities don't support hockey teams.
Although Atlanta, they're saying now there's more of a presence of people who have settled down there. It's not like a LA where people move there, kind of move out, and there are actual people living in Atlanta now. So, and maybe they'll put them in an actual rink built for hockey this time.
We got a lot of chocolate cities out there. We got Newark, we got Gary, we got Atlanta. You don't know that song, do you? No,
Newark though they got hockey in New Jersey.
Yeah, I know, but it's an old joke. I don't think they're going to make it. I just don't believe it. There's just too many, and I don't mean to be a smart ass that way. Third time, then you strike out.
And the third time Canada gets a team then. So either way, it's a win-win.
If we could do that, if they move them straight to Quebec, but that's going to come up in a minute.
Well, I think Quebec's going to be a candidate for expansion here too. So.
That's going to come up in a minute. We'll discuss that.
I mean, Atlanta, Utah are obviously the first 2 in line, but...
You got it. Anything else about hockey we'd like to discuss except for our picks for tonight?
And power rankings.
Okay. Do you want me to go first this time?
I'll go.
Okay.
Number 5, the only Canadian team on my list, the Vancouver Canucks.
Okay.
Number 4, although I have concerns about their goaltending going into these playoffs, the Dallas Stars.
Okay.
Number 3... the Stanley Cup champion from 2 years ago, the Colorado Avalanche. Number 2, they are king in New York, the Rangers. And number 1, still number 1, the Florida Panthers.
Okay, our lists are interesting because maybe we have them in different order, but I got number 5, I've got the Stars.
Okay.
Number 4, I have the Avs.
Okay.
I have the Avs. Number 3, I have the Rangers.
Okay.
Number 2, I have the Canucks, even though I'm worried about the Demko injury and how serious it is.
That's why they fell for me.
Okay.
And they haven't been looking that hot lately.
And I thought that other guy, their other goaltender, what's his name? I thought he was a good number tandem guy. But it's obviously it's not looking that good. But, I mean, that's me. This time next week, I might have...
Smith? The other goalie? Yeah.
I'm just saying this time next week, they may not be number 2 anymore. But I like all their...
and then Florida number 1?
Yeah. All their metrics, if you look at Vancouver's, all their metrics are good. But that could dissipate the next 20 games.
Absolutely.
You know what you're saying?
Let's move on to our picks.
Okay, let's
our
get
fifth
going.
last week, I was 11 for 13. You were 7 for 13.
I know, because I took stupid picks. I hope you bet on some of those, man.
I didn't.
Why'd you go down to Pro Line? If you'd pick the 11, go down. I did that 2 weeks ago, $100. I didn't get in time. I
put in my picks from today in, though.
What, for money?
Yeah.
Pro Line?
Yep.
That a boy.
Well, not Pro Line, but
whatever gambling, what do you call it? Whatever gambling corruption is seeped into your lifestyle.
For the season series now, I am only 6 behind you after last week. So I'm catching up.
Whoa, wrap tonight. Okay, no stupid picks tonight, Cruz. Last week I made a couple picks just because.
Okay.
Down.
First up,
we both picked Montreal last week.
I know.
Damn. Okay, here we go.
First up, we got the Buffalo Sabres at the Detroit Red Wings. Red Wings, like I said before, lost 7 in a row. Buffalo comes in on a 3-game win streak. I'm going to take the Sabres on the road.
I'm taking the Red Wings to right the ship against a shitty team.
Okay. Even though they're not that far behind.
That's right. They're not going to make
James Reimer confirmed in net for Detroit, by the way.
Guy's had a great career considering.
Good career. Just okay.
He made money. That's how you look at it.
Ottawa Senators at the New York Islanders. I'm going to take the Islanders at home as St. Patrick has been riding that ship. I'm guessing you are too?
Yes, I am. And it is St. Patrick's Day on Sunday, so give the man a win.
Well, that's the big one tomorrow against New York.
Oh, yeah.
Rangers at the Penguins. I'm going to take the Rangers on the road.
So, but Pittsburgh's the second most disappointing team in the league, I think. But that's another story. Only because situation with Sidney Crosby. I'm going to take Pittsburgh at home on a Saturday night.
Okay. New Jersey at Arizona, another game or the first one here that I hate to pick. I'm going to go for the Devils on the road, though.
I do, too, because if they're going to really have a modicum of they're trying to save their season, they got to win games like this.
Well, plus, Arizona's just been so shit lately.
Oh, my God.
Jake Allen expected a net for New Jersey, by the way.
Did you see him play the other night?
No,
outstanding. First star of the game.
Hey.
There you go.
You might get a higher draft pick if he plays more games. Tampa Bay Lightning at the Florida Panthers. I'm going for Florida at home. My Eastern Conference favorite.
They're sharpening their sticks as we speak. I'm taking Florida. Oh, yeah. They're sharpening their sticks as we speak.
Philly at Boston. I believe this is Tortorella's first game back.
Is it his first game back?
Or did they?
No, I think that was the one. Toronto was one,
really?
and I think this is two.
Well, either way, I'm taking Boston.
Me too. Boston still thinks they're going to win the Adams and all that. They still think they're in line for that.
The Adams.
I mean,
hasn't been called that in a long time.
Whatever.
The Atlantic.
Yeah, but I still think that they believe that
they're not too far back of Florida.
No, that's what I'm saying. So they still think,
Next up is the San Jose Sharks at the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm going to take Columbus to win at home.
I'm only taking this because at home it's
exactly.
I will not be watching that game.
Montreal Canadiens at the Calgary Flames. I'm going to take the Flames to win at home.
I think that Montreal is going to be outstanding out west. They do well. That means we got to play Edmonton too then and all that. We're on that.
Vancouver, yeah.
Oh, shit.
So you're taking Montreal?
Yeah, taking Montreal.
Who is starting for that game? It's going to be, actually no one confirmed yet, but expected to be Montembeault versus Wolf. Carolina at Toronto. I'm going to take the Leafs at home.
Oh, yeah, they got to win this one. This should be a good one for the Leafs to continue on. By the way, now that Primo is almost in a tandem, do you see him play the other night? He was absolutely unbelievable.
The way he should be, just
let them both
those
play
minutes.
Now. Play them the way they should.
It's expected to be Samsonov versus Frederick Anderson tonight, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Is this his first start or second? Anderson's just maybe his first start back or second?
I believe.
Yeah, just coming back.
LA Kings, rather, at the Dallas Stars. David Riddick likely for LA and Scott Wedgwood likely for Dallas. I'm going to go with the Stars.
Only because they're at home. That's a game I will be watching. That's an interesting game. LA seems to be playing better hockey lately.
They've always been a good road team this year.
And they've been a good road team. I'm going to regret not taking them. But Dallas wants to move up too. Look, they're playing good hockey,
Minnesota at St. Louis. It's expected to be Fleury versus Jordan Binnington. I'm going to take the Wild on the road. They've been a little hot lately.
I'm taking Minnie on the road too. I like it, even though Saturday night home teams have been dominating.
Absolutely, but you got to pick a few upsets though, right?
Yes, you do.
Colorado Avalanche at the Edmonton Oilers, expected to be Georgiev versus Stuart Skinner. Avalanche winners of their last 5 games. I'm going to take the Avalanche to extend it on the road.
No, I'm going to take Edmonton to make a statement and say we're going to see you in the playoffs anyway. We got to protect home court. I'm taking Edmonton. Okay. That's the other game I'm really going to watch. I hope that's on CBC. It's got to be.
It will be, yeah. It'll be on TV.
Yep.
Nashville at Seattle, expected to be UC Saros versus Philip Grubauer. I'm going to take Nashville to win on the road.
Nashville has been a pleasant surprise. They're going to comfortably make the playoffs. We don't talk about them enough. They could be
Nashville
the team.
8-0-2 in their last 10, by the way.
Yes, and not only that, one team's got to pull an upset in the first round.
Could be Nashville.
I'm taking Nashville too.
Although they're going to probably be a 7-8 seed. They're going to play a very good team in the first round.
That's what I'm saying. A very good team seems to get beaten in the first round a lot. So I'm looking at it that way.
And last but not least, Washington at Vancouver. It's going to be Charlie Lindgren versus Casey DeSmith in net. I'm going to take Vancouver to defend home ice.
100%. They got to do it. They got to do it. Should be some good games tonight, especially that Avalanche Edmonton game. Stars in LA should be another good game. Carolina and the Leafs should be a damn good game because Carolina's been making noise of late.
Absolutely.
And they might have to cross paths, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes.
So we are approaching the end of our show now, but I guess one thing we forgot to bring up is TPC, the Players' Championship, is going on as we speak right now.
Don't tell me nothing because
I was going to bring up the leaderboard, but yeah,
okay, I'll tell you the leaderboard from yesterday because
Nick Taylor's up there.
Oh,
the leaders haven't gone yet.
Okay,
so.
That 2:40 I believe is start time, right?
2:30.
Oh God, how do I know that? And Connors is like one something, right? Connor, the Connors are the Canadian 2:10. How do I know that?
You watch a lot of golf, sir.
I haven't missed a hole. My plan right now, to be honest with you, what time is it right now? We should get out of here by 1:30, correct? Mm-hmm. My objective is to go home, walk my dog, make sure my girls are happy, hit the basement, tune my guitar, and watch golf and hockey and basketball for the rest of the day.
Hell yeah.
So that brings us to some... what?
I was going to say, this is time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everyone in the world's favorite segment. It's the gospel according to Cruz.
Thank you very much. Now, the reason I asked him to hold on to the talking about the Players' Championship is, as you guys well know, I'm an insane golf fan. Been swinging the club lately. But anyways, what we've happened in the golf season so far is it's something that I want to talk about, and the key word is this. It's called parity. What had happened is once upon a time when this is the best field in golf so far. The Players' Championship is the best thing in golf. But what it's going to do is it's going to pale in comparison to the field we see in 1 month from now, which is the Masters, which is going to finally bring together the players from the Live Tour and the players from the PGA Tour, because those that qualify because of past exemptions will all get together. So therefore, instead of having a weaker field, we're going to see DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson. We're going to see John Ram. We're going to see Cameron Smith, I believe. All these guys, Sergio Garcia, the redneck that drives the car. They're all going to get together, and they're going to have this great tournament in the Masters, because what we have done is we've not diluted the field. So what has happened is I'm believing between gambling and golfing and expansion and people going to get more money, we've actually diluted the product, so we are no longer getting the highest level of competition that we want. What are we referring to instead is betting money on games, hoping to make money, and then people are hoping enough teams rise up so that they're good enough so that the product they put on TV is watchable. Hence the reason I'm so excited for looking forward to the Masters is because we're going to have a full field, which brings me up to the other things that I wanted to talk about when we were bringing about hockey, baseball, and the Women's League. First of all, the Women's League should not expand, because if they want to stay at the level of competition, why dilute their product when they don't even know where their product is going? Now, let's talk about the professional hockey leagues. Why do we want another team in Atlanta? Not because they're a corporate city that they believe that they should have a team and they're a major league market. What they're going to do is they're going to take 2 more or 3 more goalies away from a situation where a league doesn't have enough goalies to start. So ultimately, what is that going to lead to? A lesser product, lesser competition, and we're going to have to go back to be happy to gamble on the games instead of being satisfied with the product on the ice. The same as we're not going to go to baseball anymore, because if we expand for 2 more teams in baseball, what did we discuss in the show today, bro? There's not enough starting pitching around the league. So what are we going to do? We're going to dilute the product one more time to bring 2 more teams in for the TV, for the money, and for the gambling. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing when we look at the football. Why are we going to bring in any more football teams? I don't think there'll be any more football teams for the next 10 years due to the fact, so let us think about parity, because look what they're doing with the quarterbacks this year. Every guy that's ever been drafted in the NFL pretty well got a job on a second team, just because there's not enough quarterbacks to go along. So why would we add more teams to the league to dilute the product, to bring down the competition, which is why I watch sports the most. You know what I'm saying? So my guess is this: Live, PGA, bring all the golfers together, improve the product, and I'm hoping in the next 10 years of my retirement, I don't see 1 more new team, 1 more new logo, 1 more new franchise, 1 more new arena. And if that's selfish and all about me, I'm going to make it about this, because I've got less time here than time lived. And every game I watch, I want to be the best game I've ever seen.
Fair enough.
Agreed? Because we at the House That Happened believe in one thing: the highest level of competition. I'm hating the advancement. Like when I heard about the NHL, Andrew, I freaked. When I heard baseball bring it up, I freaked. Basketball, no expansion. You know what I mean? I think we've diluted the planet, don't you say?
I mean, whatever. Guys are always going to want another piece of the pie.
But does that make things better?
But players and whatever, the training's getting better. You could argue that there's going to be more better players coming into the league than there was like the bottom of an NBA roster now is like way better than it was in the 90s.
I'll agree with that. But I'm going to tell you this much right now, is that means the population growth is going to have to be good enough to produce these athletes that's going to help to eliminate the parity. Is that what you're hoping for? Where is the population growth going up? India? I don't see any Indian football players.
But just training is just going to get better everywhere you go anyways,
We
right?
hope so. I'm just saying now that in my old age, I'm just getting really, really disappointed in seeing too many bad games due to the fact that you've spread the product too thin.
That could also just be bad coaching too, but
they
deserve a fair shot at that.
But with that being said, remember this weekend is a great weekend of sports. All the college basketball conference championships are going on. This is the best field in the PGA that we've seen all year. We've got 3 or 4 A-list hockey games tonight. So if you're a fan, do not despair. There is quality competition.
There always is. And the hockey this year has been great despite
much
the
better
goalies
than the
being,
basketball.
Yeah, and despite the goalie
yes,
being
I
diluted,
agree.
right?
But don't you agree before we go, what would you say? Because you know me, Mr. 8 hours of sports a day. I'm saying that the quality of the hockey games have been higher than the quality of the basketball games.
100%.
There you go.
Shout out to the Humber Hawks. They'll be playing for bronze at the Nationals today. Unfortunately, lost in the semifinals, but a chance to come home with some hardware. Roll Hawks.
So if there's any people out there that are running golf courses and they need someone to do some part-time work on their golf course for free rounds, hi, my name is Cruz, and I work at the House That Happens.
I think that's about a good, or do you have any more shout-outs you want to give? Or?
No, I can't think of any right now, but we're going to be talking to the Don't Worry About It San Fran crew out there. We're coming to talk to you. You'll hear us before you know
Absolutely.
it. They're looking forward to it too, by the way.
So am I. It's going to be a great show. Listen up, baseball preview show, March Madness, all that right around the corner. This has been The House That Happens. I'm Andrew Milani.
Hi, my name is Cruz, and you know what we do?
We keep the vibe alive. You can find The House That Happens on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Samsung, Podchaser, Boomplay, YouTube, and SoundCloud. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at The House That Happens, and follow us on Twitter at House Happens. You can also shoot us an email at thehousethathappens@gmail.com.